We'll open up in a word of prayer and then do the flag. Everybody stand. Father, Lord, again, we come to you today, Lord, as we go over the budgets for the county, Lord. We just ask that everyone would look and see what they need to make the county a better place than what we are used to today, Lord, as we always try to improve. Father, we just ask that your guidance and direction would always be in our hearts, Lord, and the things we do would always be pleasing to you, Lord. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Will. Like I said, today is Budget Here Day, and we'll be here most of the day, or as long as it takes. So, Greg,
sure,
if you would come up and us let everybody know how the process will be.
All right. I believe in front of you, you have a copy of your budget books, a copy of a change order that I'm going to ask you to consider, and a copy of the agenda. Change order has the AIA document on the front of it. If possible, Mr. President, I'd like to go ahead and take that up so that we can get it back to the contractor and they can continue work.
Okay.
That is a $12,000-ish change order, $12,429 change order for the park construction.
Yes.
To change some water line, or change a water line and buy a grinder pump.
Motion.
Got a motion from Supervisor Griffin and second from Supervisor Banks, and these are concerning the parks,
The parks.
the county parks.
Yes, Rogers, Estes, and Fairview.
Yes, sir.
That's-
All right,
covers
got
all
a
three
motion,
of them.
got a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
All right.
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome. And now it'll be budget hearing time. You have a schedule in front of you and your books. And on that schedule, it's got who's coming and page numbers. I learned that lesson from last year. Y'all don't have to ask me what page things are on.
Yes,
It is
Always
it is on
good.
it is on the agenda. So that y'all can follow along. The one thing probably worth noting is an across-the-board increase in state retirement. That is not something that this board or I have any say in.
Right.
We have been told by members of the PERS board to plan for a 2% hike as of July 1st. So that'll take it from 17.4% to 19.4%. So you will have 3 months at 19.4, 9 months at 17.4. You average all that out, it comes out to 17.9. So you will see pretty much an across-the-board increase in state retirement. Anything else, all of the department heads and various agencies will be here to describe their request in detail and answer any questions you may have.
Okay, sounds good. The first up is Dr. Odom.
And I believe Dr. Odom had a conflict, so she has sent,
I'm Lois Booker.
Yes.
She had
Okay.
a conference this morning, and I'm standing in for her.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, if you will, just start just at your request. You know, just tell us what you're requesting, if there's any changes from this year to next year that you're asking for.
Okay.
Most of the changes we looking for is increases.
Okay. As far as 2002, it was 192,018 cents. 2003 is 176,939.33 cents, and for the fiscal year coming of 2024 is $226,281.01.
Okay, as Supervisor Griffin pointed out, go ahead and go over what increases that you're looking at as far as over beyond this current year, what you're asking for next year.
The increase is $49,341.68.
I see that. instead of me going down each line, I see the utilities.
Oh, I'm
You're asking
sorry.
for 2,000 for the utilities, which you didn't have any on there last year. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Who paid for them last year?
I don't know. I'm sorry not to have all those answers.
County does.
Yeah, okay.
This is just the request. County generally pays the utilities. The request is the same as last year. That estimated column is based off of what has been spent as of the end of June times 1.25, just to give you an idea of what would be expected. Obviously, there will be some seasonal differences for certain departments. It does assume a uniform distribution of costs, which is not ideal, but it's the best way to kind of estimate what's going to be spent in 2023. So the request is the same as last year for DHS. They requested $2,000 in utilities last year. They requested $2,000 in equipment repair last year. They did not change the request. It's just looking like they're not going to spend everything from their request last year.
Last year.
All right, what about office supplies? I see it increased there as well. Is that something that the county pays as well?
No, sir. We do not cover their office supplies. They buy their own.
Okay, I see an increase on office supplies, line 603 of $6,000.
The state office supplies all of our office supplies.
Yeah, yes, but last year, or this year, you spent 1,800.
And that's county expenditure. The state does not supply all of their office supplies. The county does pitch in. And the request last year, I believe, was 8,000 as well. It is a case of they are not spending everything that they are requesting.
And it was 8,000 that they requested, and they spent 1,800 or something. Is that what?
Is that the way, yeah,
Yes,
okay.
They've requested the 8 in years gone by. They just don't spend it all.
Why would we request 8,000 and you spend approximately 2,000?
I'm sorry that I don't have all the answers for you.
Or,
But I guess we will only spend what we need in,
Yeah,
And that's a good thing.
that's a good thing, but this is a budget, and so, I'm just trying to figure out, did y'all really spend some time on this budget looking? Or y'all just throw the same numbers down and say, hey, we're gonna bring it in front of the board and hopefully y'all approve it? That's really what I'm asking.
okay.
Is that hopefully y'all looked at your budget and how much money you spent, and if you were questioning the same amount, you should be expecting something different to happen in 2024.
Okay.
Yep, and my suggestion is to reduce it down. That I think she asked them, 6,000, so reduce it down to 4,000. And if they need anything different over the year, because they didn't spend for 1,800 something last year.
That's right.
Reduce that 6,100 down to 4,000. If they need any help later on, we can talk about it. Any thoughts?
And the same way as janitorial supplies. You asked for 5,000, you spent 900.
913.
Yeah. I mean, so why would you go back and ask for $5,000 and you just spent
They just spent
900? I mean, I understand if you expected something big to come along, but
And plus, no, I guess Dr. Odom probably was the one that mostly put this budget together.
yeah. What we don't want is people coming in, agencies coming in and just throwing the same numbers down as last year, and that looks like what's happened here.
Okay.
So I would ask that y'all go back and relook at your budget.
Okay.
Just go back and revisit your budget and just get back with Greg and just, get some good numbers.
Okay.
When Doc will be back?
She'll be back Monday.
Monday.
Tuesday. She'll be back
Fred.
Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
It looks like now the 2022 is actual,
Yes, sir.
and it looks like this estimate we may come close to, at the final round, be close to the 2022 actual.
Close, yes, sir. Particularly for payroll, because it's every 2 weeks, there will be a little discrepancy just based on timing.
Yeah.
But it's going to be very close for most of your offices. It will be a little farther off for things like the road department, where they do the bulk of their work during the summer.
Yeah.
What they've spent by the end of June is not indicative of the amount of work they're going to do July and August, just because it's very hard to pave things in the winter, as y'all know. So it is truly an estimate, but it should be in the ballpark.
Okay. Okay.
Any other discussions on this? I would ask just to go back and revisit.
Okay,
The
I'll
numbers.
make sure I relay that back to her.
Yeah,
when
just
she
ask her
comes
to get with
Tuesday.
Greg.
Okay.
Fine.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Kemp?
He's on page
14.
14.
Good morning. The Veteran Service Office is staffed by 2 veteran service officers, 1 full-time assistant, and I'm part-time as the director. And that's the same as it was last year, and so there's no increase there. The only increases over last year are in the travel and seminars. They're having 2 statewide training meetings instead of 1 as they had last year. They're having 2 next year. One at Camp Shelby, which I'm looking forward to going down there. Not really, but and Casey Davis is the assistant, and she goes to both of them, and I go to both of them. So there's some increase there. But overall, and then we're requesting a laptop computer. We don't have one, and we need one.
Is that the equipment,
The 1,500, yes,
the
sir.
1,500?
Yes, $1,500, yes.
Okay. So it looked like your budget is about the same as it,
Yes, we keep it under, it's $97,739 in our request, and it's been that way pretty much
yeah.
the last few years.
And you do have a full-time person in that office?
Yes, she started last September, and so she'll be there a year next month, and doing very well, yeah.
Okay. Are there
She's,
any questions concerning this budget?
I just got a question, and it might not be more or less about the budget. Is about, since COVID is kind of gone to the side, the outreach of making sure that all the veterans in Madison County know that we have you all
Yeah.
to help them out. Is there gonna be any more expense on your budget? If it is, this gonna be the time to get it in there where we can get that outreach for the year coming up.
I'm glad you mentioned that, and I was going to come to you at your regular meeting next month. I'm planning a town hall meeting for veterans and we're looking at last time I had it, I don't know if you remember, we had it at the National Guard Armory, and we had it in August.
It was hot.
It was not air conditioned, and I won't do that again. But I have discovered the Canton Multipurpose Complex, and I've got it. I'm working on it.
Working on that, okay.
There's a fee, but I'm gonna go to the council and ask if they'll waive that. And I've heard that they might do that sometimes. But yeah, we won't. Yeah, that's a lot of veterans don't know we're here.
Yeah, definitely.
But I tell you what, with the PACT Act and the regional office being closed because of black mold in the building, and they moved over to the hospital and doing their public contact, but we've had an uptick in veterans. And I'm having to treat them lightly, but as veterans from other counties come, and I do help them a little, but we help them some, but we refer them to someone else.
Someone else.
Yeah. And the number of veterans is decreasing. We've got 4,698 now, and we had 6,000 just a few years ago.
Wow.
The World War II vets are dying out, and Korean War vets too. Mostly it's Vietnam vets and Gulf War.
Yeah.
And we do a lot of work for the Mississippi VA, and we work with them, and they, of course, we refer a lot of them to them. They act as their representative and power of attorney in claims disputes, and so we work with them a lot. But I know what you're saying, and it's a lot of folks, I didn't know you were here, but we're on the website, and we've got, we do all we can to put the word out. I have met with the VFW and Ridgeland, the American Legion, and I'm constantly going to assisted living facilities and nursing homes to talk to veterans about their benefits and so forth.
Okay.
In fact, I was going to give you
Here, I'll pass them out.
some data.
Oh, okay.
I'll just do it.
And I don't want to speak for Mr. Kemp, but that town hall is going to be planned around Veterans Day. It'll be sometime around then to try to coordinate all of those outreach efforts together.
Okay.
You know,
Great.
As Veterans Day arrives, it makes sense to try to do things in conjunction with Veterans Day, not on Veterans Day because there's too many other programs, but, you know, a week or two prior so that we can have everybody there while Veterans Day is approaching.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're looking at maybe the last week in October or first couple of weeks in November. No, Veterans Day, of course, is the 11th, but we won't interfere with any other activity. But the Veterans Hospital and the regional office and the Mississippi VA are all going to be on our program, and we'll access all the benefits that anybody has, needs. On this little thing I've sent out is it shows you the population first, and then the total VA expenditures, and how even though there's been a decrease in veterans, there's been a tremendous increase in expenditures,
Right.
mostly on disability compensation and pensions. And of course, that's not only for the veteran, but it's for the veteran's surviving spouse or next of kin. There are a lot of this unique medical patients. That's the veterans that have accessed the hospital, the VA hospital. That's the ones that go there. That's what unique means.
All right, are there anything else on the budget? And Greg, we may want to put something out on our social media as well, you know, as far as the veterans, and so.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Kemp, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Breedlove, Ms. Alex.
He has not arrived yet. We can either skip it, or I feel pretty confident presenting it on his behalf if y'all would rather do it that way, but it's up to y'all.
All right, we'll just wait and see if he comes in. It'll be fine. All right, Dr. Johnson. Ms. Mary Sims Johnson.
Thank you for your support, and thank you for the opportunity to submit our budget requests for the fiscal year 2023-2024. For the fiscal year 23-24, we are not requesting an increase in our general fund budget, so we're requesting the same amount as our current year, which is $635,766. 61% of those funds will be used for a match and leveraging our federal grants. 31% will be for salary and fringes, and 8% will be for contractual and consumable services. We are requesting an increase of $11,000 for our building lease budget because we experienced a 5% increase in our 5-year lease, and we experienced an increase in our janitorial services. So the amount that we received for this current year was $153,000. We are requesting $164,000 for the fiscal year 23-24.
If you would, we would like to see a breakdown,
Okay, I have that.
if you have it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Just, and of course, you just went over it, I'm sure.
But I have the details with the
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah,
for
Greg,
the-
if you, I don't know whether you have copies or not, but,
I do have copies.
okay. And say, if not, we can make copies later.
For the-
I believe you knew this question was coming.
I kind of felt like it may.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are there any questions on this budget, on the board?
I don't have any.
Not at all.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate the breakdown as well.
Thank you.
All right. Next on the list is Drew.
Two is,
He has
Whole
three
bunch
them,
of
you see.
pages. 11, 78, and 44.
Hey, Drew, page
Morning,
11
Moore.
first. Is that kind of where you headed?
Yes, 11 is your normal buildings and grounds. I've got about. Page 11.
And this, maybe for those that do not know that's watching, I know that the board members have met with Greg and we've gone over these budgets prior.
Yes, sir.
So some of these questions may not be asked today because we've already have the answers
Yes, sir.
to them, prior to this meeting because of the homework that was done before this budget meeting by the board, so.
Going through, mostly adjusted for inflation in areas, utilities, anything underused. Were there any direct questions? I know we had discussed the projects previously.
Right.
What was the, looking at 570 insurance and fidelity bonds, we're seeing a 50% decrease. That's pretty healthy decrease on that particular item.
It got added into the Board of Supervisors budget rather than the Buildings and Grounds budget because I think that's a more accurate reflection of the reason for the cost.
Oh, okay.
That there's a $100,000 increase to the Board of Supervisors insurance line item to account for this.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay.
I see you have vehicles.
Yes, sir. And I have some information on those if you had questions. I am looking to replace a 2009 Chevy Silverado with 164,733 miles and a 2010 Crown Vic with 160,400 miles. They're at the end of their useful life. We ended up in a situation previous year where we had several vehicles go down at one time. I want to slowly start phasing out when they're at the end of their useful life, well over 100,000. So I'm starting with these two this year in my request.
They just not getting it run good.
The Crown Vic, I will argue, might outlive us all, but
Yeah.
And you use those vehicles just to drive around to the.
the Crown Vic that we're replacing is used on our mail route, so it is on the road all day. We were looking to replace that with something a little bit more fuel efficient,
Yeah.
and that had where we use that to move boxes, anything like that. I wanted to have a smaller truck where I could get a dolly in and be able to move supplies in and out easier than the back of the Crown Vic.
Yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
All right, the other budgets that you have?
Next on page 78 there, I believe that's the old courthouse.
Okay.
Or is it not?
78.
The old courthouse budget has increased. We have
Sorry,
experienced.
that's solid waste.
Oh, sorry, let me switch back over.
78 is solid waste.
Here's solid waste, solid waste.
All right, which one we at, B?
We went to 78,
44.
It's on 44.
The old courthouse.
44.
But 78 is Drew's as well, so
Okay.
either option works.
All right, we're on 44. The old courthouse.
Yes, sir. This has had an increase, as you can see. We experienced some hail damage up on the roof. We've had an insurance adjuster come out and make an initial finding. We're waiting on them to follow up. We are going to have to do some substantial repair to that roof because it's a historic building. We'll have to go through archives and history, so we're anticipating a hefty project.
I see that, 800,000.
Yes, sir.
And
I know they gonna give us some grant money for to repair that, right?
That is hopeful. The architect that we're going to use had worked on the cupola repairs in the past. It's Belinda Stewart Architects that we're going to reach out to. That is all their firm does is historic preservation work. In the past, if there's grants available through Archives and History, she has worked with the county to help find those.
You said an insurance adjuster came out. Do we have any insurance help on that?
We're waiting on the report. It has been, the adjuster has submitted a report to CCMSI, who is the company that's in charge of that through Massett. We are waiting on their report. It should have it hopefully soon. It's a little bit of hail damage, and anything that doesn't go to the roof will go to HVAC or fire suppression in this case in that building, because both of those are very much needed if we're going to continue to use that building.
Yeah.
If it's, I know there's a museum board, we can't
Right.
operate a museum without fire suppression because no one will give you artifacts to hold if they'll burn.
Okay. So this 800,000 could easily come down to 400, or just depends on what the answer, but we have other use for the money.
We do have
Yes,
another
sir.
use, and that 800 is kind of an estimate for roof work and a little bit of the fire suppression.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, page 78. Sheila, we're on page 78. Good morning.
Solid waste budget was adjusted per the contract for their increase. Contract was on the CPI index, so it was capped at a 2.5% increase.
Questions? Okay.
Yep,
No.
getting the garbage.
Thank you,
picked
Drew.
up.
Thank you.
Getting the garbage picked up.
Okay, we have Judge Ratcliffe. Judge? Huh?
Hey, 16.
Showed up early, so I thought y'all might be moving along. Good morning.
Good morning.
Get my glasses out real quick. I'm gonna have to do this quick because I see this 2-minute limit. I've always had a hard time with that.
There you go.
All right. A couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention, if I could. I'd sent a letter to Mr. Higginbotham a few weeks ago, I believe it was, wasn't it, Greg? And outlined some things that I wanted to bring to the board's attention. One is we've had a rule change with the Rules of Criminal Procedure, Rule 7.2. 7.2 now requires our circuit courts to implement a plan on having indigent defendants that are, and I'm gonna use our county obviously as a example, that have initial appearances in, let's say, the municipalities, whether it be in Canton or in Flora and Madison, Richland, that type of thing. When they have the initial appearance, typically, or in the past, what's happened is that public defender has represented the indigent defendants only at initial appearance, and then after that, he or she is out of the game. And if they are in custody, they have not had representation from the time that they are, from their initial appearance until their indictment. Sometimes that can be a good while because we've got crime lab issues and that type of thing. And so the Supreme Court decided, they said, look, we need to cover this. We need to close that gap. So the Supreme Court has required us now to have a public defender for all indigent defendants that from that point until indictment. Now, that public defender does not have to take them to trial. We have our trial public defenders that do that, but that person is responsible for representation. Matter of fact, of all indigent defendants, whether they're in custody or not. But I think that the rule really is for those people that are in custody, and make sure that they are represented, and make sure that somebody goes into the jail. And quite frankly, if they want to plead by a bill of information, or if they want to ROR them to get them out, it actually saves the county money not to have them sitting in the jail, obviously. It's for everybody's good. I don't think there's a downside to that. But in saying that, we don't have anybody for that position. We would need to add a public defender for that position only. I've met with my other two circuit judges, which Judge Arthur's running late today, but his kids were starting school today, so I can understand that. But anyway, we feel like this is the best way to do it, to have somebody do that. I've talked to 2 or 3 different attorneys about it. There's some interest there. I think we could hire somebody fairly quickly, but it would obviously, by statute, the Board of Supervisors are the ones that say how many public defenders we have, and I'll get into the pay scale in just a second, but that's the first request that I would have. The second one would be, it came to my attention a few months ago. We have, as y'all know, we have public defenders in a lot of different areas. We've got them in the county with the youth court, with the circuit court and that type of thing. Typically, they were all under the circuit court umbrella. I think that's been split out in the last several months. Y'all would have to maybe correct me if I'm wrong on that, to where our youth court public defenders are not actually under the circuit court umbrella anymore. But it came to my attention via a public defender that some of them are being paid a salary plus benefits with retirement, and some are not. Our circuit court public defenders have historically not been paid any benefits. As you well know, people start talking, and if they're saying, well, one of them's paid benefits, the other one's not, we very well might be in a situation where we're going to lose some public defenders, and we really can't afford to do that. So my request would be to make sure everybody's on the same page and being compensated the same. Obviously our circuit court public defenders are responsible for discovery. They're responsible to go into trial on felony cases. So they've got some serious things that they're doing, and they have not been paid those benefits. So I would be requesting that they just basically be paid just like everybody else. Make sure that they're paid those benefits. And if y'all have got any questions about that, please ask me, because I've got a couple of things I wanted to go over.
Which line is that on?
Yeah, I just want to say, you got that figured in this budget
Yes,
already?
yes. The sixth public defender and the benefits are included in that sheet in front of you. Yes, sir.
And when you say sheet in front of us,
That on full, that's that
Page
405?
16. 405 for attorneys, yes, and 468 group insurance matching.
468.
Okay.
You will notice a sharp increase in both of those.
Yeah. Oh, there's Judge Arthur. Okay, good. Didn't see you come in. I apologize. Do you want to add anything to that? Okay. Y'all have any questions for me on that?
so this, the public defender that you're talking about adding would be approximately how much?
It's about 54 grand.
Yeah, the same thing that the rest of them are being paid.
Okay.
Now that, once again,
So it'd be
this is a very new thing, and we're feeling our way through it. But
Right.
but I've met with the Judge Arthur and I have met with all the municipalities as far as the public defenders there, the judges, the prosecutors, that type of thing, and kind of warned them, so to speak. Look, y'all right now are on the hook for this. Right now through up until indictment, we're going to see if we can help you because we also are in the same ball game. We've got, the county's obviously ultimately going to be responsible for it. So we feel like let's go ahead and get this done. This started actually July the 1st. Now we have taken some steps to make sure we have bond reviews, that type of thing that we've been doing, making sure, if anybody from our standpoint has been in the jail for more than 90 days, has not been indicted, doesn't have a lawyer, we check their bonds, make sure, hey, is that bond too high? Maybe they can make another bond, or if we don't think it needs to be touched, if it's a situation that it's a good bond, we'd leave it like that. But we have been reviewing those. We just need somebody now to comply with that new rule to pick it up from initial appearance on.
Okay.
Let me ask this question, Judge. I could see Justice Court that the county has to pick it up.
Yeah.
But the city, if the city make an arrest and there's no bond, even though it might be just a simple charge, that mean that we, the county, got to pick it up?
Well, I'll give you, we've got some case law, some case law back several years ago that say that basically, I think it more than implies this, but if somebody's charged with a felony and once they're bound over to the grand jury, it's the circuit court's responsibility, which means it's the county's responsibility, yes. And I just feel like, and Judge Arthur and Judge Mills and I both feel like, or all three of us feel like, that this is a way to make sure that this rule is complied with and make sure that any liability the county might have is allayed at that point. There is a case that has just come out here recently to where a county sheriff was actually sued because somebody had been in that county jail for so long, and the county sheriff said, hey, look, I didn't even know, that's not mine, I just pick them up and put them in there. And the court ended up finding and said, no, you're on the hook. So want to make sure that we as the county make sure that we do everything we can to alleviate any type of potential liability on that. And once, excuse me, Mr. Steen, also, once again, I want to emphasize this. The quicker that we can move these cases through, the quicker they get out and go into MDOC custody, or they get out regardless, they might even be non-adjudicated or something, that saves the county money. And I've talked to the sheriff about this, and I've talked to the chief about this, and they were, yes, we think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the structure setup, and just kind of going on a little bit of what Paul was saying. Look like to me the cities would participate in the cost.
Well,
even though, hey, the structure that you just laid out sounds like the perfect thing to do is for the county to be in charge to make sure it goes smooth and everybody has representation. But it look like to me the cities should participate as well.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that, as far as the cities do have some skin in the game, let's put it that way, in this, but I don't know if they're not structurally set up for it and never have been. There's the difference in the district, so to speak, is and primarily because of population. Our district now, and when I say our district, I'm talking about Madison and Rankin County because that's obviously what we work with. But we've got 110,000 people roughly in Madison County, 160,000 people in Rankin County. So we are now the second largest judicial district in the state of Mississippi, behind Hancock, Harrison, and Stone, and we're just barely behind them. So our caseload is much bigger. So that's why we have municipalities that have their own public defenders that can just take a little bit at a time and then pass it on to what I consider our circuit court public defenders that are actually trial attorneys. They're not set up for that. If they were set up for that, I would agree with you. But until they are, or if they are, I honestly believe that this is the best way to do it. And I think that quite frankly, I think that if push came to shove, they're going to put it back on the county.
Yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees in the way that the setup that you described it as much as that, I just think the city should have some skin in the game, as you said, as far as paying.
I can't really, I don't know how that works. You guys are, that's your department as far as that goes, as far as the funding and that type of thing. I'm gonna just read you the comment to the new rules. It says, the rule requires that each circuit shall establish governing local procedures for the appointment of counsel. It doesn't say each circuit, county. It says it in the rule, but in the comment it says circuit. And once again, I might be reading between the lines, but I believe that it is our at least it's more of our responsibility. Yeah.
Probably don't disagree with that at all. Okay?
Okay. The last thing, well, I say the last thing, I guess it would be the last thing. I had given Mr. Higginbotham some proposed orders on our staff, because AOC has come out with staff raises for the trial courts. I've also asked for an additional law clerk. She's working for us now. She's on an hourly basis. Her name is Allie Burrows. She's a she was an extern for us, then we made her into a part-time law clerk while she was in law school. She's graduated from law school. She's just taken the bar last week. She actually came back to work on that hourly basis, so to speak, I guess, yesterday or day before yesterday after the bar exam. And she's done a very good job for us, and we would like to have her on full-time. I set out in the proposed order, I don't know if, Greg, if you've given them that.
They've not seen the orders, but the numbers are
Okay,
right in here.
okay. What the salary is for them, I've gone strictly by the AOC guidelines. I provided Mr. Higginbotham also with the AOC guidelines to show that this is in compliance with those, and as well as with our staff attorney, Sarah Butler, and our 3 court administrators that have been with us for years, obviously, but we're just asking for the board to approve those raises. Wanted to note that the budgets for the circuit judges from the state has gone from $80,000 to $100,000 apiece, so we're getting an extra $20,000 apiece to help with that.
Good.
I don't think that covers everything, but it certainly helps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Judge Arthur, was there anything else? Did I miss anything? Okay.
So Judge, what you're asking for is 1 public defender, 1 law clerk, and benefits for your public defenders.
That is correct, yes.
I mean, is that
That's
something pretty much
correct.
new compared to
That's
last
correct. But I might have gone a little bit too much explaining why we needed that new public defender, but it's needed.
No, it's good.
In other circuits, and I've talked to some other judges, they have public defenders at the municipal level that can take it all the way to trial, but they might have 15 cases on their docket, where we were going to have 100.
Yeah.
You know, so whoever takes this job will probably have between 100 and 150 clients the first day.
Yeah. It'd definitely be a benefit to everybody, everyone. So.
Okay?
Any other questions?
Yeah. And you might have answered it and I missed it. Once a person is bound over the grand jury, whose responsibility is to pick that person up? I know you're saying you want to hire a new public defender to pick him up, but if he bound over the grand jury, he go back to the jail.
Possibly, that's correct, if he doesn't bond out.
If he don't bond
right.
out. Whose responsibility is then to make sure this person been bound over the grand jury, that attorney, to get down there?
All right, I'm going to read you this rule, and you asked me to interpret this rule. This rule says that this is under the rules, the duty of continuing representation. It says counsel representing a defendant at any stage, which if you're thinking of the initial appearance, shall continue to represent that defendant in all further proceedings in the case. It used to say in the trial court. Now it says in the case. It's basically you're still in it. The first one's in it until we release them. It says including filing a notice of appeal unless counsel is allowed to withdraw and for good cause as approved by the court and new counsel is retained. So basically, the first person that gets it is in it for the long haul until we let them out.
Okay.
Once again, one of the problems that's coming in is these people that are doing it now, that are handling on the municipal level, literally, if you go to these municipal courts, they can be handling 50 or 60 at a time. You're saying, okay, you've got them throughout. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow when you come back in, you got another 50. And they just cannot handle that. And then once again, when I go to the comments and it says the circuit shall establish this, we're the circuit. So I honestly believe the rule is a good rule. I think the amendment was good because I think that there was a gap there we needed to fill, and it's just, but according to the statute, obviously, it's the Board of Supervisors' responsibility to say, hey, how many public defenders we have, and obviously what the pay is. So it's I hate to say it, but it's in your court.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Judge, I know you don't get up here very often, but just real quick, like on the backlog, do we have backlog?
No, sir.
Everything is moving?
No, sir. We don't have
moving well.
backlogs. No, sir, we don't do that.
That's good to hear.
No, sir, we don't do that. We, just for the board's, well, just for your, I'll say this, when we had the pandemic, we suspended one term, and we did not suspend guilty pleas or motion days or anything. We suspended trials for one term because of, obviously, and I believe that was in April of '21. After that, we've been rocking along ever since. There are several that have not done that. We've done that. We've made sure. This was all put in place before I came on, before Judge Arthur and Judge Mills came on. This was put in place by other judges, so can't take responsibility for that. But no, we have not. We don't have a backlog.
That's great.
Okay.
Good deal. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Judge Oliver. Okay, next is Mr. Harbor, Constables.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the board, Mr. President. I'm here representing the constables with the constable's budget. As you know, there's certain things laid out in the law that y'all have to provide for us, and y'all are very gracious that y'all help us out anytime we need any help. So I prepared this budget. It's a couple things that got increased were the travel reimbursements, because we never know what that's going to be. That's for our constable conference. Like I myself, I don't ever ask to be reimbursed for my food or anything like that. So, but that's for the hotel rooms or whatever is needed. Also, the law enforcement supplies, that's for ammunition. The price of ammunition is skyrocketed. So I added a little bit in there for that. And then uniforms are in there. We added a little bit to that because you never know when you're going to need uniforms. And we've got an election coming up. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Election coming up, and we may have to provide uniforms for, a new constable. So basically, everything else stays the same, and we appreciate everything y'all do for us.
Okay.
Okay, looks good.
Question for Brad?
None.
If not, thank you, Brad.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Next is Ms. Miller,
41.
Oil and Water.
All right.
I'm short and sweet and simple. We did ask for a increase this year of 5%. This is our first increase since 2014. And so we are here to help all the landowners with all their needs and stuff, and work closely with our partners in RCS. And we bring in close to $1 million a year back to Madison County citizens and stuff like that. Education happens to be a huge part of our organization, and we're happy to say that we're in both public and private schools for Madison County and have to help. We're currently working hand in hand with the engineers for the Bear Creek watershed. We recently had them at our office to show them photos of 1936. We still have aerial photos of Madison County for 1936. So that's just short story for what we have.
Okay.
Questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Y'all have a great day.
All right.
All right, Ms. Truesdale, Election Commission.
Good morning, how are y'all?
Good morning.
24.
Our budget didn't really change a lot. I had tried to outline the different things, and I didn't know if y'all had any specific questions about a certain line item, but it's pretty much standard. We are using the paper ballots, so ballots are pretty expensive. They're like 25 cents each. And they're a little more when we do illegal. This time it is illegal because it's a statewide and it's a lot of categories on it. And then y'all graciously allowed the poll worker pay to increase, and so I tried to, include that. But other than that, it's fairly standard for what I've had every year.
And this is a case of the 2023 estimated not necessarily being in line with the actual expenses. Obviously, your election worker fees won't really hit until after August 8th for this year.
Right.
So it's not exactly an apples-to-apples comparison from the 23 estimated to the 2024 request here, just as a nature of timing.
And the fees went up from $125 to $200.
Right.
Correct.
And so that's pretty much what you was,
Yes.
part
and
of what you was talking about.
Pretty much, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. And you do have in here somewhere or another as far as getting the ballot boxes out to the precincts, as far as carrying
Right,
them out,
uh-huh.
and traveling, and
Right.
as far as renting trucks and
The
stuff.
truck rental, yes, sir.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
good deal. All right, questions for Pat? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Kennedy?
We are about 20 minutes ahead of schedule, so he has.
Yeah, we're moving along pretty good.
Anybody else?
But I do see
Got
Minor
fire
Norman
coordinator.
sitting in the back there.
Miner's on time.
That's why I come early.
That's page 86.
It's good to see
86
y'all
start with
in an air-conditioned environment too, by the way.
Your quarter mil
That's right.
to start with.
You're exactly right.
34.
Quarter mil? Okay. So I'm gonna start out on,
86.
let me get my
Whatever
stuff up.
that, on page 86.
86 is the quarter mil fire fund. That's not a quarter mil, so the name should probably be revised.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably does.
I don't think it's been
Yeah.
a quarter mil since about 1997.
Well, I know the increase and decrease, a lot of it is like, I think a little misleading, but it's really not much different than I had budgeted before. Let me go, on one of the, let me see, where's that? Equipment, machinery and equipment, the 919.
Right.
Last year, y'all budgeted me $115,000 to buy an air cascade trailer. You know, it's something we'd use in the field, filling up air bottles for fire departments. And I got quotes, and I went and looked at some models, and for what we was getting for the money, I thought maybe we could do a little better to have something. And I want to give out this.
Oh, thank you, sir.
This is just an example of something I want to do. I talked to Mr. Paul, Mr. Carl last year, or early this year about this. Instead of getting a Cascade trailer, I want to buy like a used heavy rescue that has a Cascade system built in it.
Mm-hmm.
And, none of our municipality departments have a heavy rescue because you don't get insurance credit for them. Because they don't carry any water, they don't carry any fire hose, and they don't have the water pumps. That's like a mechanical issue you have with the fire trucks. It's all storage where you can keep equipment in case we had a major disaster. And when I went to Rolling Fork and worked with them, I wish I had this truck there with equipment on it to help out there. And then it made me think that tornado could have come right through Madison County, and we really could use something like this. If I get it, all the volunteer departments would be training on it, and we'd have to eventually buy more and more equipment to put on it. We'd build it as we go, but we'd train with the career departments like Madison and Ridgeland, let them know what's on there, where they can work with it. Our volunteers would be ready for it if we have to, if we have to call them in to help with the incident we had. This one right here, it actually sold, but it sold for, I think, about $80,000. So, and it was like 20 years old. The heavy rescues keep their value pretty good. To buy a new one like this, to get the Cascade, and the second page, it shows compartments open, and plus you got the big tall light that comes off the top. I'd make sure one was like that so we could light up a scene if we had it. A new one would be $400,000 plus. And and they're not used that often, so that's why I don't think we should, we're not like a big city, a huge city, so we could get a used one and just have it really on standby if we needed it, and plus we could train with it.
And you have 150 down for that?
Yes, sir, because they range in different prices on the age of them and the mileage on them, so it fluctuates on what you come across. The ones in a better shape, some of the used ones cost over 300,000, but
Where would you park it?
it would be right beside our ladder truck we got. We have room in there, and when we build the new station, when this new station does get built at the mega site, it could be stationed there too.
Question on this, you will have equipment like hoses, spare air tanks, valves, all stuff like that?
Right, we'd have like airbags and lift, and it'd be for like structural collapse, when we have to lift heavy objects off people. We'd have rope rescue in case we had a incident like a tower where we had to go up a tower to get maybe a worker down off of it who's collapsed or stuff like that. It could have, and some of them come with jaws already built in it. So if we had a commercial industrial event where we had to lift heavy equipment off somebody, we'd have that kind of equipment on there too. And it could carry like chainsaws, extra stuff like that too, for any kind of disaster we could come across. And it also would have hazmat equipment on it.
Hazmat.
So a lot of people don't realize, like in Rolling Fork, we actually, during that tornado, we had a hazmat incident and really didn't have the equipment there because that water tower that fell off, it had a tank of chlorine that got ruptured during that too. And there was nothing we could do but just let it dissipate because we didn't have the hazmat equipment there on scene.
Right on item 544, maintenance contracts. Explain that a little.
Okay, what we have to do on that, we have our trucks have to have a service. Every truck has to be serviced once a year, and also have to have the pump certified once a year.
But
And
does that not belong, that cost, does that not belong to the station itself or the district?
We've always done it ourselves because we own the trucks, and it's more of our liability to make sure it actually gets done right. And all the air packs on the trucks, they have to be flow tested yearly. That we just starting to do that to make sure we're staying on top of things. But we have a couple of departments that may not be able to pay for that. But usually, in the history, the county has always maintained our own trucks.
Well, I just see, it's possibly going from 10,000 to 40,000. If we not been,
Why you think you went that far?
yeah, have we not been maintaining them in the past then?
Yeah, but we hadn't had the 22 actuals, and part of it could have been the generators in there, wasn't it? That we
Yeah,
didn't-
we did need to knock out 8,000 for generator maintenance because that was double budgeted both to Drew and to fire because of the generators at the fire stations. Drew had been paying for it, Minor had been budgeting it.
Yeah, but you have 40,000 down now that you're requesting. Is that correct?
Right, but I talked to Greg because I told him I also had the generators in there too.
So the generators in this 40,000?
Yes, correct.
So
So it
that-
should say 32.
Yeah, so that would come down because the buildings used to be under fire, and we got that going to building
Yeah, but we
grounds.
down to 32,000
Yes,
now
sir.
from 10 to 32. That's
Yes,
still a healthy increase for what I'm hearing you say though.
Right, but it's this year, let me just make sure I'm not.
Why don't we just go back and revisit that one? And also, line 542 on vehicle repairs. That one is similar unless
Well-
we put something else in that one.
Right. We have a lot of older trucks some of them are in the 90s that we're looking at replacing, but like the year before last, we had a floor truck break down, and that was
one repair was like $8,600. So I never know what kind of mechanical issue we're gonna have with a truck or a pump.
Right.
Because, anything with a fire truck is really expensive when they repair it.
23.
But we do have a lot of aged trucks out there. We're soon to be working on replacing them.
Okay, other questions? All right, thank you, man.
Okay, I appreciate it. Oh, we gotta go to Mosquito now.
Yeah, we do, don't we? 34. You're exactly
34.
right. 34.
Right. Now, on the 2022 actuals, those figures are gonna be really low because we couldn't get chemicals back then. And, we only could spray when we had chemicals available, so the drivers, now we have the chemicals available, so it's gonna be back up where it's supposed to be.
I know we have talked about that in the past, and how effective is this spraying? Is it effective, or?
I don't want to stop it.
Yeah.
It's more psychological.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
it's more effective where you have a neighborhood,
Yeah.
but when you get into rural parts,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be that effective, especially if they have a long driveway, it's not gonna do anything for them.
If you don't do it, everybody's gonna call.
There ain't no doubt, boy.
Yep.
Yeah,
That mosquito truck missed one night.
it's like a hit.
I was just trying to figure out if
Gonna
there's
rain.
something, if
Some
there's
people-
something better than what we're doing.
You can't find anything,
All right, that's enough said.
Gee,
Don't
so,
worry
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, you're doing a good job.
Don't worry about it.
He's spraying for the mosquitoes.
Keep the trucks going. See if you can get a little louder motor on them.
yeah.
That's a great idea, I like that.
So
Yeah,
they know when they pass by their house, they.
exactly. A little louder motor.
All
That
right,
would be good.
thanks, man.
Yeah, I like the ice cream.
To keep it going, move on, we're gonna back up to Norman.
Yes.
Good morning. Page 6, guys.
Tell you what,
6.
6.
6.
Got a handout.
Oh, yeah, it is 6.
All right.
Oh, you doing all right?
Yeah. I was planning on calling you, so I need to probably talk to you sometime about an assessment on some land.
Give us a call.
I want to be like the rest of the people that call you. Raise sand about assessment on the land.
All right, Norman, tell us what you think about the budget, that is.
I'm sure Greg had a similar format, but I thought it would be easy just to look at this and simplify it, and it's easy to compare. Pretty simple and straightforward. The columns on the left, 400 through 469, pertain to salaries and benefits and everything that really falls into Greg's hands, and he will work those according to increases or decreases based on the market, insurance, things like that. So I'll start with 480, travel reimbursement. That remained the same, no change. Training and seminars remain the same, no change. And if you look at the far right, that 21,300 is the total of those two categories. And that matches what we submitted with the budget documents that Greg and his department sent out. And postage, box rent remain the same at $5,000, phone service at $15,000. And one other thing I'll touch on our expenditures for the fiscal period, they all fall below. I don't know that we're over in any of them, of these numbers that we're discussing today. And we feel like it's, safe to keep them at the same rate unless you see an increase or decrease here. Drug testing, $250. Legal ad, $1,000, did not change. Vehicle repairs,
We increased that $4,000. We're experiencing issues with some of the vehicles, and I know we'll discuss that in a minute. So we did have an increase there. Equipment repair remained the same. Maintenance contracts had an increase of $6,168. That's with some of the contracts that we currently have in place. And again, the details have been provided on the budget documents that we submitted. Legal fees had an increase there of $7,500. You know, the busier we get in the county, the more challenges we're going to have, the more lawsuits we're going to have, and it just is what it is. It comes with the territory. Other professional fees remain the same at $3,000. Fidelity bonds, $10,300. I think we would see an increase there if we, you know, as we grow with the number of employees, and the bonds would increase. Dues and subscriptions remain the same at $12,500. Other contractual services, we had a decrease of $6,000, and all of those that we just discussed total $183,402. Office supplies, we're seeing an increase there in need for supplies within both the offices that we have, Canton and Madison. And as you know, everything's increasing in cost these days. So we had asking for an increase of $5,000 there. Other supplies and materials pretty much remain the same. Gasoline, $9,000 remain the same. Tires for the vehicles, $3,000 remain the same. Tags and inspections, uniforms remain the same. I think the tags and inspections may have been zeroed out on Greg's document.
Yes, but until the vehicles are approved, it doesn't make sense to budget.
It's $40.
Yeah, it's $12 a tag though, so.
Those items total $29,840. Vehicles, I am requesting $105,000 there, hoping to buy 3 vehicles. We've gone several years without purchasing vehicles, and we're in dire need of them. I've got more employees in the field these days, trying to keep up with the numbers and the growth in the county. And to me, it just makes sense to go ahead and buy these. I'm also trying to work with the sheriff's office. I'm looking at some of the vehicles that they've turned in tomorrow with them. I think they've got 3 to look at. 1, it does not sound like it's even worth considering. But if those are reliable enough and will last, we'll be glad to, you know, consider putting those into the fleet. Other machinery and equipment remain the same at $5,000, and furniture and office equipment remain the same at $2,000. Those total $112,000. So our total budget request from 469 to 920 is $346,542.
You know, on the vehicles, of course, we hadn't gotten to the sheriff's budget at this point, but I think that they have more vehicles that they are asking to purchase.
15 total, yes.
Is it 15 total?
15 total.
Norman, I'm not sure if that's the ones you're looking at. Okay.
He's
So
got
it's-
4 that are coming before the board to be surplus as of Monday. One of them is, Jeremy had some very not nice things to say about it. And so there are 3 that may fit Mr. Kennedy's needs.
Are those the 3 that you're looking at? Or?
Yes, sir. I've talked with Sheriff Tucker and Jeremy, and I'm lined up to hopefully look at those tomorrow morning. But who knows? I mean, they've got high miles, and they stay on the road.
Right.
You're right.
You know, I think in my 8 years, this is the 8th year in office, I think we've purchased maybe 2 vehicles. We've got a total of 13 or 14 in the fleet, and some of them are as old as 2005s, 2008s. We've got one across the road that will not even crank. The 2 Crown Vics, and we've got a Jeep Liberty really need to go and be replaced. We just need reliable, dependable, more efficient vehicles. We're growing in staff. We're growing in, you know what's going on in the county, 58,000 parcels and 4,500 businesses to keep up with. And to just maintain compliance with the Department of Revenue requirements, I mean, we've got to be out producing daily. And I just think we've talked about this in the past. If we could go ahead and purchase these, and hopefully some of these others will enable us to move a few more out. Greg and I have talked for a while now, and it's been brought before the board where we develop a plan to purchase 1 or 2 a year, and just that way we know what's budgeted and we just keep rolling a couple out, and we don't get caught having to purchase 5 or 6 at one time.
That's right. That's the best way of doing it.
And your people need to look good when they pull up in a county vehicle.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the one across the road, Mr. Griffin, but I took pictures when I pulled in a few minutes ago, and it is, it's a Crown Vic. It will not crank. We've got electrical issues with those now, to the fact where Tony's has had to rewire them and just really get creative. And, you know, the ceiling's rusted out. I mean, it's time to go for sure.
Oh, yeah.
How often do y'all, and I know you mentioned it before, how often do y'all reappraise property values? Or how
Excuse me, we're required by law to look at 25% of the businesses and parcel count per year, so that over a 4-year period of time, we've covered 100%. In addition to that, of course, we're relying on permit offices and certificate of occupancies and things like that to account for anything new or demolished, removed, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're busy. I've got 15 employees in the field constantly, and we're now having to schedule around vehicles for sharing them at this point in time.
Yeah, don't need to be doing that, that's for sure. Other questions for Norman? Tax assessor, appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for your time. I appreciate it.
We got a circuit clerk.
Yeah,
Anita?
I got it.
We ready, come
Gotta
on
get
up.
mine down. They're killing me over there. I don't have a problem at the funeral home. It's the damn land I got.
Okay,
Sell it, give it to them to you.
I think
All
I'm
right,
real
Denise.
easy today. How are y'all doing?
We doing well, thank you.
Good.
Appreciate you being here.
Everything with the circuit clerk budget will remain the same except for the contractual services here, which are postage. Y'all all know postage keeps going up. Next year's is crazy. And we have elections next year, of presidential elections, and with sending out these ballots, it gets really, really expensive. And you can see that we're right at the what was budgeted last year right now. So I was just asking for a small increase in that, up to $14,000. I think it was at 11.
Right, okay.
And then for personal services, training, I see that there was nothing last year budgeted
Right.
for seminars, and I do plan on doing some election seminars this year, this coming up, next one. And I did price that out, so that's all I'm
Okay.
asking for.
Good
I know that Judge Ratcliffe was here earlier on the circuit court, and I don't know if he mentioned the transcripts. I think last year was like $3,000, and we're over it by like, I think, $4,000 right now or something. I mean, it's way up there. But anyway, I was asking for an increase in that because we've had some pretty significant cases come before the court this year, and every time these individuals are indigent and it has to go to the Supreme Court, we have to have transcripts. And most of the time, a court reporter, if the case goes for a week, it's about $1,500. Yes, court reporter. So anyway.
Okay, questions? Anita, appreciate it.
I'm
Thank you
fast. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Ms. Horn. I don't see Ms. Albert's here, so come on up.
Yeah, I
Albert.
went ahead and got Albert.
Albert here.
Albert is present.
Good morning, board. How y'all doing?
Morning.
Doing just fine.
What page that on?
31.
I don't have to look, what?
31.
Start with 31.
31.
31.
Okay.
All right, Albert.
All right, is this gonna be the 911 or the emergency management? EMA. Okay.
Emergency management.
Yes, the emergency.
I'm here this morning to ask you all to approve my EMA budget. And whichever line items that you may have a concern about, ask me and I can explain it to you.
I don't have any concern at all.
Did it go up a good bit? Are you asking for a good bit more?
Not too much. I just want to make a couple of changes, and I want to add to what we already have.
All right. I see vehicles.
Yes, sir.
Seem like everybody's wanting vehicles.
Everybody want a truck.
Yeah, I need a vehicle as far as where we're heading. Just a more powerful vehicle to pull what we have and what I'm trying to get. And one of those items is a trailer. Search and rescue, whether we got to call out with the sheriff's department, just being able to handle the equipment that's being pulled behind it.
Right.
And on another, I want to add a siren. I'm gonna have to replace it because it's old and worn out.
You want to add a what now?
A siren for
Siren.
51 and Lauren Road.
Lauren Road.
So I'm trying to replace the old one to.
What does that cost?
It's gonna be like right at 50,000 for it to be put in and just have everything that would connect with the other existing sirens.
And they usually last, what, 15 years, 20 years?
I give it a 10, good 10 to 12 years.
Okay. All right.
And the siren and the trailer are both in 919 there, so that's why you see the sharp increase in line item 919.
Okay.
We need it.
And in that vehicle, that's one vehicle, have.
Yes, sir, one.
To pull the trail.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm on, I'm gonna use this every day.
I think to put it. You gonna wrap them?
Is that all you gonna do with that vehicle, pull that trailer?
Just, it's gonna be my everyday truck, but you know, here and there, the way the call's been going now, so.
What are you gonna do with your truck?
I would say if you wanna.
How many miles on it?
130,000 miles.
Just broke in, huh?
Right.
Seats just getting loose.
If the power was there, I wouldn't have no problem with it at all.
It doesn't have the power.
Yours are 2,500, right?
It is, but it's a Ford, and it's transmission problems, motor problem with it. Yeah, so.
But what you looking to get? 3,500?
No, 2,500. But I just want to upgrade it to a diesel. No, I'm gonna try to get a Chevrolet.
Diesel.
Yeah, and that diesel it'll sustain, you know, what we're trying to do with it.
I see what you're saying.
Gotta have one pull that trailer.
Yes, sir.
I think Norman one bought that Ford before you came.
Tell them about me, I know.
And so, and just to let you know too, all the equipment that'll be in that trailer, hazmat, computers, printers, generators. So wherever we go, we'll actually have everything we need.
You and Norman need to get together and buy one good trailer.
It is, but they price it. When I say it was talked about, but I just didn't think I could come in here and ask you all about that price.
All right, let's go to page 70. I'm sorry.
All that emergency management stuff, can it be took off your truck?
Yeah.
Cause I'm just thinking anybody needed would be the road department. It's not, we need to sell that way if you get it.
Yeah, but it can, I mean, just the decal and the lights and everything, like in the inside of it, can be removed out and reused.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go to page 72.
72.
72.
Yes. 72.
72.
And
what's wrong with 71?
It's blank. Page 71 blank.
71.
Now it's 72.
Yes.
All right.
71.
All right, now,
70.
communication services, 911 money.
Okay.
Getting cash.
I do have one.
Go one page over for the detail, Supervisor Griffin, or 2 pages over.
Yes, I'm on 72.
Yeah, 72.
Yeah.
70 just shows you that there's still going to be money left in the fund at the end of the year, Lord willing. If everything goes according to plan, the fund will be empty. We can hope at least.
Okay.
and I do have an increase. It'll be in 919 for equipment, PSAP equipment for the sheriff's department. Yes, they, to upgrade what we already have so that we can have better service with the system we already have. And it'll be maintained and controlled at the sheriff's department.
That would be great.
Mine is
I wish.
going from 80,000 to 443.
Can you not buy your truck out of the 911 funds?
You can, but there is more leeway in general fund, which is gonna be a 49 million in revenue versus 1.6 million in revenue for, E911 money. And the sheriff,
Leeway in where you get the truck, or?
I'm sorry, what was that, sir?
You said there's more leadway. You just talking about more money?
Yes, I'm
As
talking
far-
about the general fund is a larger fund, so it is a smaller percentage of the total. For E911, you also share that money with, sheriffs,
yeah.
dispatchers, and when cities come asking for
That's right.
PSAPs, which you'll hear about at the meeting on the 21st, that money comes from here.
Right.
But yes, in theory, yeah, you
Yeah,
could.
you could if we needed to.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably could buy that trailer too, couldn't you?
It'll be nice.
Really hard to link that one to communications.
All right, any questions for Albert on this page? All right, appreciate it, Albert.
Yes, sir.
Thank you much.
Thank y'all.
Okay, Albert is, okay, we have Holmes Community College. Are they there, out? If not, who else is here? Dwayne?
Wayne's here.
Dwayne is here.
Where Dwayne at?
I'm gonna jump in line because we got some issues in the data center upstairs I gotta help Robert with in just a minute, so go ahead and get her done.
Greg, you might need to get to calling some more people.
I've started already. I'm concerned we're going to be covered bare.
My whole budget went up by about 150K, and I can tell you what that consists of.
What that consists of?
Please do.
We've got Windows 10 PCs all over the county that are going end of life in 2025, so I'm putting 50 PCs in here to start the revolution like we did before. That's gonna be about 50 of it. We have 2 devices, one in each computer room, that houses our virtual servers. They're going end of life this next year. I got to replace them. That's about another 50K. It's one in each computer room, and those things provide redundancy. If one of them goes down, we put the servers up on the other one. We're very fortunate in Madison County, we got 2 computer rooms. A lot of counties don't have that. You know, one here and one at the sheriff's office, we got some redundancy between those computer rooms. That's another 50 of it. The battery backup unit in this computer room here is getting old, and we've had some power outages. That battery backup unit only holds a computer room long enough for the generator to fire up, but we need to replace that guy. It's getting old.
Replace what, the generator?
No,
Backup.
the battery backup.
Battery.
And that's about 25K, so you're looking at 125,000 right there, and the rest of it is just miscellaneous. We've added another internet circuit for redundancy. We've added another 60 days of off-site storage to our server off-site storage things, and some of the maintenance support went up a little bit. So that's what makes up the difference in my budget.
Okay.
And I'll put a plug in. We were talking about vehicles earlier. IT department's got an old truck right now. It's got about 230,000 miles on it.
Yep.
We haul equipment from one place to another. We go out and just about on a daily basis to Madison Sheriff's Office to Florida fixing things. So when some of these other folks get a vehicle, if there's an SUV that can be handed down to the IT department, that would be awesome.
Albert has one if we approve his budget.
It would be awesome that we
And
could
the air
get.
condition work in it, so.
Yeah, we just need something to, if it's raining or, you know, we haul stuff between these offices sometimes. And I got a guy goes to the sheriff's office.
That's too big.
No, that's just right for what he's gonna do.
He said he needed an SUV.
It's just right for what he's wanting to do.
I got a goes to the sheriff's office every day, and after hours, if they call Ed, he runs up there to fix stuff. It'd just be nice to have a dependable vehicle.
See, he's going back to a
You need an
dependable vehicle
SUV
now.
or a pickup.
SUV would be better, you know, there's not much room in that pickup to put a bunch of stuff, but
That one Albert got it in.
But the sheriff had turned those 15 of them.
just,
You have several choices.
Yeah.
just keep us in mind when they're shuffling vehicles that we,
Greg will be involved in that, so.
okay.
just keep, because there should be one out there for you.
Okay, like I said, just keep us in mind when they're handing them down. It'd be nice to have one, with a little room in it, a little bit better than what we got now.
Yeah.
So just,
I'm hearing
any other
130,000
questions? Do what?
I said, I'm hearing 130,000 miles and they act like they wore out.
This one got almost 250 on it.
That's what I'm saying. It should be, get 200 or
Yeah.
225.
I'm driving a personal truck. It's got 170,000 miles on it. It's still going.
That's what I'm talking about.
But anyway, just want to put that little plug in there. If there's one out there somewhere that can be a hand-me-down, we really need
Got it.
something. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Well, let me go jump on this issue up there.
Okay.
No, we don't know enough
All right,
questions.
sir. I know you're right on time.
Number 9,
That's the page.
page.
Page 9. Good morning.
Good morning.
Look at the actual budget, well, the budget from 23 compared to the budget of 24, my budget did go down about $3,500. The estimated budget is not quite aligning, doesn't have any real major increases in my budget. Like I said, it went down actually. Any specific questions for me?
Nah.
Why don't everybody's budget been went down? I like that one.
I can't see where your budget went down.
You don't have the budget from in front of you from FY '23, from the current year that we're in now.
Yeah, there is no
Okay.
budget request column. I can certainly add that next year.
Yes.
but,
Yeah, probably need to.
Okay, we'll add that for next year. My stance has been, I don't
Because I was
really-
trying to figure out where it went down.
Good.
'Cause, yeah, you don't have the number in front of you to compare, though.
Okay, good deal.
Yes, sir.
Question? Thank you, ma'am. That was short.
Thank you.
All right, next is Loretta.
Yeah. Page 10.
10.
Yeah, right next to it.
Good morning.
Morning.
As always, I am not asking for an increase in my budget. As a matter of
good.
fact, my budget went down $2,000.
All right.
$2,000.
Next.
Long as it went down.
That's a good one.
Loretta, are there anything that we need to know that you'd like to tell us? Budget that we might be interested beside the 2,000? That it went down?
No, that's the only major.
Yeah, yours is probably pretty.
All right.
Hold on 1 minute. I have something I need to pass out.
Give her a gold
I thought it might
star.
have been something that you was wanting us to know.
Yeah.
Give
This
her a
is,
gold
this
star.
don't have anything to do with my budget, but since I came down, nope.
Since
That-
it came down.
That's not.
Okay.
The health
Yes.
fair.
Yeah, this will be the first time that we will be hosting the Madison County Health Fair, and we're planning on having it on the square. It's going to be September the 8th. And we will have someone out doing different type of screening. We'll have someone out giving out material on mental health, stress, other issues like that. We will be providing lunch. We will have door prizes. And I would love to have the president of our Board of Supervisors. If you all just be willing to come by and just to say hello and, just to show a little support.
You probably get all the boards.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think we all could schedule a little time.
It been
to
got
come by.
30 a.m. to 1.
Yes, anytime is calm,
This is for anyone.
Is it gonna be 80 degrees?
I hope not. That's why I put it that's why we pushed it back to September the 8th.
Well, 80 would be great. Give me 80 today. I'm
I
fine.
know. Well, let's hope. I'll take 82 compared to today. I'll take 80. But yeah, it's open to all Madison County employees, and if the spouses,
Uh-huh.
they are also welcome to attend.
Good deal.
Good deal.
Who pays for that?
Just so they'll know, the Madison County Board of Supervisors would not have to write a check. This is actually a benefit that's in our health insurance.
All right.
So
That's
I
good.
just wanted to bring that to y'all attention. And I will be emailing, you'll get that flyer again because we will be sending out a flyer. I'll be doing an email blast to everyone.
We'd be able to get flu shot too, huh?
Yes.
Greg, it would be good to encourage
Yes.
all of
September
our
might be a
agencies.
little too early for mine.
We'll put it out on the intranet,
But-
for.
yeah.
It's internal instead of intranet. So when folks sign on, they'll see it. We will
Okay,
publicize
good.
this.
Yeah, and I'll do several email blasts to everyone just as a reminder. Mr. Griffin, what you said about your flu shot?
September might be a little too early for mine.
Why?
I wanted to last.
It'll last.
It's gonna last until you, it's gonna last until next year?
Last until you catch flu.
Oh, see, right there. But I just want to bring that to you all's attention and ask for your participation.
Okay.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Just keep us updated on
I
the
will.
reminder.
You'll get email maybe every 10 days leading up to that event.
Okay.
Good deal. Thank you, Loretta.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, thank you.
Hey, let's back up. Who did I see walking through the door?
Justice
Miss Cheryl
Court.
Horn. Come on up. You're up.
That's why we want you.
You're never early.
You may be early, but you're late.
You're right on time.
Right on time.
Well, first of all, good
What
morning
page
to
we
each
on?
and every one of you.
20, good morning.
And I am Cheryl Horn from the Madison County Justice Court.
How
Proud
you
to say.
doing?
All right.
Tell me your budget went down. It did. Okay.
Well, you know, we're fitting to upgrade to our new Delta system, so that's got a little bit.
Have we got that in yet?
No, sir. We've signed the contract. We're waiting on Delta to get us into their schedule, which they say will be October, November timeframe, even though we signed that contract back in February.
That's ridiculous.
But apparently, we're not the only county interested in switching to Delta.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
What type of training they gonna need?
Okay.
Is Delta gonna do the training of the people? They will?
Yes.
Send a representative up here to do the training, and they also will handle the support so that if there is any questions, Justice Court can call Dwayne, but Dwayne's gonna say that's a Delta product. It's not my sandbox to play in. So they handle the support, they handle the training, and because it is a system that is used across multiple counties, from what I have seen in the past, it is probably better to just call somebody in another county and say, hey, how do y'all
Yes.
do this?
Exactly.
And if there's one thing about Ms. Horn, she's gonna make friends, so I feel quite confident she's got friends in other justice court offices across the state.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I just wanted to share with you all too, what we've been, selling with the county. So we've been, doing pretty well. I see that's from July, of 22 up into June 23. And I have a copy of y'all for each of you to look at. So Justice Court has been generating funds, generating good money.
That's good.
Now,
Thank you, ma'am.
you getting it now, Miss Cheryl. Tell them how much you taking in.
Wow.
That's it. That's just, from, like I said, from June to July to June.
July to June.
Y'all good? Y'all good?
Yeah, I'm good. I saw it. Thank you.
So everything is
That's
running
about
pretty
so far, I
smoothly.
can't count the number.
At Justice Court, we've had a few bumps, and mainly thing I want to do is keep my people, working so we can do our job to do what we need to do for the general public that's coming in.
How does this compare to last year?
I'm not sure. I've gotten it, but I don't have it with me. So that's why I gave you a little bit of last year and a little bit of this year. So
Yeah, but that's 12 months in between. It's hard for me to remember that.
it's hard for you to remember, but I can get
I see you in July, but yeah,
yes, I
it'd be
can-
interesting to see year over year.
year to year. Okay, that's no problem. I most definitely can get it to you. Yes.
No, it has to be positive. Can't be negative.
It's always positive income.
Yeah, she just realized that budget time is when she come up here and tell her how good her and her people been
I'm
doing.
trying to figure out what she's asking for over and beyond that. All right, Sheriff.
Yes. So, like I say, that's the main thing. Everything is running pretty smoothly, at Justice Court. We've had some hiccups, but we're a family. I feel like we're a family there. We pull together and make things happen, and our main concern is to make sure that we are doing things right, in the right way.
Okay.
So, like I say, the only, I think, biggest increase, Greg, you can help me out, was, we getting the, like we said, we've signed the contract for Delta, and that's just to improve things there and for us to be compatible with other justice court clerks. courts.
All right, any questions? If not, thank you, Sheriff.
Okay, all right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, let's see who's, Ronnie, are you next?
Got the judge over there.
Okay, Judge O'Neill.
Ronnie can wait.
Yeah,
Hey, Judge O'Neill, come on up.
Yeah, we adjourn.
We'll back up and start again. 30 anyway. We're gonna start on page 17.
17.
Yeah, I suppose that's where we'll
Well,
start.
it starts there,
We're-
yeah.
We'll start on page county court.
You're on there. County court, that one we may want to send Hannon over later, or there's not.
We were supposed to go to 11:10. Judge Hannon had a grandchild issue this morning, so he's not here yet.
A good issue or a bad issue?
It just a sick, I don't think it's real bad. Just a sick grandchild, a new mom and a sick grandchild. You know how that is. He's on his way though, so he may.
Like the pediatrician.
Yeah.
All right, Judge, you were up, and we're on page 17 with county court.
There really aren't any changes. I made some adjustments based on some things that we went over or under, moved some things around, but really,
Yeah, same.
weren't any big adjustments. I think my court reporters, our county court reporters said they were anticipating some equipment changes, so we made sure we had something in the budget
Right.
when that comes time. But I did bring something I wanted to show you because you're probably not surprised. So
I'll pass them out if you want me to.
take one, pass it down.
One and pass.
I am, and I know this is not a decision for this year, but, you know, you have not because you ask not, so I'm going to ask again. There's 4,600 square feet in this new building that so far I think has been unallocated. So I know there are others who probably want it too. We have two needs. Last week, I got a call from Ridgeland PD. They had 6 juveniles they needed to lock up for stealing cars. And not just in the cars, but literally a car stealing ring, suspected in some carjackings. And, but at that moment, they needed to lock 6 up. We called my staff and I called every detention center in the state, and we could only find 3 beds. So I told the detective, I said, I'm sorry, pick the 3 that you think need to go the worst. And the other 3, we just had to let them loose. That is starting to happen. I had a call from Canton PD last week, and they had a girl they needed to lock up. It was a domestic violence type situation where in that case somebody's got to cool off for the night, or it could be really bad. And it took a while to find, because placing girls is harder than placing boys, because a lot of detention centers will just say, we don't have room for girls. So they're either full or there are no space for girls. And in the age of COVID, if somebody gets COVID in a detention center, the whole thing's locked down for a couple of weeks. So there are only about 12 or 13 detention centers in the state of Mississippi for 82 counties. And of those, only a few really ever have availability. So with my art skills, a detention, if we could have even just a minimal, not only could we house our kids, but we could rehabilitate our own kids in our own small detention center. Our parents, when I ship kids off to LaFleur County or Adams County or even Yazoo County, a lot of our parents don't have transportation to even go visit their kids that far away. So besides the safety factor, there is just the fact that They're our kids, and we're sending them off to other people. Anyway, the other need that we have in Madison County, we do not have a forensic interview room for children who are victims of crime. And so when a child is a victim of a crime, what has to happen is a forensic interview, and that is a specially trained person who interviews children in a room with a hidden camera. It's recorded and then used as evidence in a trial. We don't have that in Madison County. So if we have a child who's a victim of abuse or crime, then they have to get on the waiting list in Rankin County at the Child Advocacy Center there. And sometimes that takes weeks. Usually it's done in days or a week or two. And then sometimes they just decline to interview them, which leaves law enforcement in a lurch. So if we could have our own child interview room with a hidden camera kind of set up like a child's play area, we need that. It would be wonderful to have it. So I took those two dreams and smushed them into one space. I know that there's probably a need for drug court people that are in the historic courthouse to get out of there. If y'all are redoing that building, that could be worked into finding a place to put some of them as well. But I'm just coming to put it before you again
Okay.
to say it's a need.
Yeah, it's always good to keep it in front of us.
Yeah.
It is. All right.
I see your architect.
My drawings?
I'm just trying to.
What I've drawn is 11.
Wish you had sent it to me earlier so I could have.
I'm sorry. It's 11 boys' cells and an open day room, which would be, you have to have that, obviously a bathroom. If you house juveniles, you have to educate them with the help of the school system. And so that's why there's a classroom.
This the whole building though, right, Judge?
That's the whole 4,600 square feet. The space right now that's unallocated, I put it inside there. So the rest of the building, I just chopped off. It's over here.
Okay.
It may look like it's unallocated at this point.
Right.
But I know that there's one or two others that I think.
Well, and I'm just making sure I get in line with the rest.
Yeah, I understand. That's reason it's always good to keep it in front of you.
Yeah.
You're right.
All right, any questions of the budgets or any other stuff?
No, do you want to, anything else you need to tell us on youth services or?
I don't think so. We kept our budget pretty good. We desperately need some carpet and maintenance upkeep in that building.
Yeah, everything needs to be upgraded to a degree. I mean, you have to keep it that way. Okay, any questions for the judge? If not, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank y'all.
Appreciate it.
Ronnie, do you need one?
Thank you.
Youth services.
Okay. Who else is here beside Ronnie?
Take the carpet. Take the carpet up.
Ronnie, you
I
want
can
to?
take a break while Ronnie goes.
Ronnie, you want to present yours? You want to present yours?
I've never heard of this. The son's here, but I'll be glad to.
The son's already.
She's already presented. She done presented, did it?
Both the sheriff and the engineer are on the way.
What about Scott?
Scott's out in Florida. He will be here shortly.
Got you.
Did you see again?
All right, Mr. Lott, come on.
Okay. Where's?
Yes, Mr. President.
Page 4.
Are we waiting on Mr. Griffin? Or are we gonna go ahead?
No, we're gonna go ahead.
Okay.
Page 4.
I do have a question down here.
Okay.
Hell, I don't even see him on the list.
On page 4. Yeah, he's down at the bottom at the lunch.
Oh, he show you way at the bottom.
He's way at the bottom.
He got 4, 15, 19, and 74.
That's it.
Why he got so many?
All right, Ron.
Where you want me to start? 4?
Busy man.
Page 4.
Page 4?
Chancery
Page
clerk,
4.
Basically,
yes.
My budget is almost the same. I did go up 1,000 legal ads. I'm having more of those, 100%, which was than it was last year. My maintenance contracts have gone up 45%. Office machine rentals, et cetera. Is that right, office machine rental maintenance? Am I looking at the right thing? I got my glasses on, I still can't. See, maintenance contracts have gone up 53%.
Yeah, that's what it says.
And,
53.
as well, but the contractual services have gone down 106%. But ultimately, we are updating our technology and the land records and recording, and it's just, as Norman says, this county's growing, thanks to y'all and your wise leadership, and we have to keep up with that, and we have to, fortunately, spend a little bit more money to have that capacity to keep up with the growth that we're experiencing in this county.
That's correct.
Yes, sir.
It is.
Other than that, pretty much everything is about the same. You have any questions on any of the items?
I do not. Does that cover page, 15 as well?
Page 15, Chancery Court, we have increased our, they have increased their clerical employees. They've actually created another full-time bailiff, so that's basically where that amount comes from. Pretty much everything in the top is statutory. They did increase their other contractual services 75%, just basically keeping up with the growth in the county. And other machinery and equipment went up, same thing, 99%, which is increasing their technological advantages of the county.
Ronnie, refresh our memory a little bit on the increase of the bailiff. They hired a new one, correct?
Full-time, they created one full-time, we had one, I believe, part-time.
Mm-hmm.
And the sheriff had, he was formerly with the sheriff's department, I think he came on full-time as a judge's bailiff.
Okay.
We had one retire, we had one go part-time.
Hold on one second.
Yes, sir.
And my question is, we hired one new bailiff.
No, sir, we just, I believe, and I may have to get the judge to answer these questions.
Okay. Well, I'm just, because you said that there's an increase in a bailiff.
Yes, sir. And the bailiffs, yes, sir. And just did, basically, I believe it was a part-time. I believe the sheriff was paying part-time. I think he took it over full-time.
That's the increase.
So the increase was just the...
It's a lateral switch. So you go, the sheriff's going to not pay as much, and my understanding. Now, once again, I may get the judge to actually...
no, that'd be fine. I just,
okay.
I couldn't remember.
On Thursday, she's usually in another county, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
I got it. Okay. Any other questions for Ronnie on that one?
No, he did a good job on that question.
19. Even though he did skip it.
19, hold on.
Yeah, he did. He stammered a little bit.
He stammered a little bit.
Mental health. That's, ultimately, there, like I said, there are no drastic increases in this. It's, we have lost Tim Pickett, who was our heart and soul of our commitment system. They have other people who are trying to take his place. They're having a minor bit of difficulty, but ultimately, we're working on keeping people committed. We've lost a hospital. St. Dominic's has closed their wing, it was much easier for us just to send people to St. Dominic's until we could get a bed in Whitfield. So right now, the Region 8's having to cope with that, what exactly to do in that instance. But right now, we have less facilities for those who need them. And I do not know the answer for that, but.
Now, Timmy Pickett did a lot of this for us. Now, who's doing that now for us?
Well, it's still Region 8, and we've talked to several individuals, but I don't know if any one particular that's handling it all. We've had several individuals. They haven't replaced it with a Timmy Pickett with a Timmy Pickett yet. Let's put it that way.
And we pay Region 8 to do this for us.
Yes, sir.
What else do they do for us?
Basically, that's it. That's it.
How much do we pay them to do that for us?
It's, what is it, two?
There is a Region 8 allocation in here.
200,
Are they coming in front of us?
200 even, I think.
200, right at 200.
They are not, because
Okay.
it's generally
And
contracted through them.
And that's all they do for us, though, is.
Yes, sir.
When I say that's all, I know that's a lot.
Yes, sir, that's, another, the only alternative was to actually hire someone,
You do?
which I would entertain, hiring someone.
That's really what I'm getting at. I don't know how much we pay them.
Around 200 a year.
Yeah.
200 a year?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we pay.
About pretty much even. Is it even 200, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty much right at that 200,000.
Because it, you know, it appears or seems that we could hire someone, and if we don't need them for other
They're not doing it.
other causes
sir.
or
No,
other
sir.
reasons.
No, it's
We
not
don't
that I'm
need them
aware
for
of. The
other
sheriff, I think, doesn't use them either. So, no, sir.
reasons. I mean, is that something that?
Oh, yes, sir.
you would entertain or
We'd entertain the board's advice or direction in this at any time.
Because you would, you know, we definitely, I don't think we want to go down the road, hire someone, and then keep Region 8 too.
No, sir, I would not, that would not be a, yeah, we do have the contract, but I do not know when did it expire,
tell you.
I think it's a yearly contract.
Yeah, it's a year-by-year contract.
Yeah.
I would be I mean, I would just be interested in looking to hire someone out if that's something that you would think now. The other
Yes,
board
sir, we would entertain that, whatever's best for the citizens of the Madison County, because just like the issue happened where we lost one of our citizens in Rankin County, who was responding, who had actually retired and had gone there, and if the mental health services had been available to help this individual, maybe we wouldn't have lost our former chief from Ridgeland. So ultimately, it's extremely important.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
And Mr. Pickett, as always, you know, like I said, I'm spoiled, we're all spoiled, my office is spoiled. We pick up the phone, say, Tim, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'm on it, poof. Governor calls me. I told this story before. Governor calls me, he said, I'm on vacation. I said, Tim, he said, I got it, boom, that's that.
Well, the main thing is just doing the job, getting the
Yes,
job
sir.
done. That's just the main thing, and as, you know.
Yeah, I was outside for a minute, but if I can ask a question, and you probably already done answered, but right now we contracting with Region 8.
Yes, sir.
So the contract, if we went with an individual, would be with you and that person? Or it
I
would
mean,
be with
there
the
are
board?
options, but probably would be, yeah, whatever. It'd be an unknown territory, but I would say, with the legal expertise of our county administrator nodding, I would say that, yes, sir, that would probably be right.
Yeah, and we'll be just kind of increasing your budget to help you.
But I will start that, since you have an interest, I will start that search and idea and see how the best way to have this done. I'll get with the administrator with your permission, and we'll come up with a plan and reapproach you with it, what we think is a plan that's best for the citizens of Madison County, mental health.
You know, it might be well to have Region 8, you know, come back in front of us and just explain what all they doing,
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I would like to know what all they do, but
you know, for Madison County.
That's Dave
For
Van, right?
$200,000.
That's Dave Van is the one that.
Dave Van will be here next month. He is coming before the board to give his annual report next month.
And there you go.
And that's an every
Yeah.
year
It's
thing.
in the first meeting next week, or?
No, next month. He asked
September.
Okay.
for maybe 2 months, but I'll get with him, see if we can't get him here a little sooner, because it's either September or October he's coming.
And have him, yeah, just have him to get ready to explain, you know,
Sure.
what all we get from him,
I
or
think-
from them.
Yeah, that's part of his annual. He comes and he brings you all the financials, and he says, this is all the things we've done.
Well, he brings us the financials, but
He'll be
Let's
there.
look
to
at the
answer your
anniversary date on that contract
Yeah,
to pull
yeah.
that information.
Okay.
When is it renewable and when is it over with?
because they put a nasty taste in my mouth when he sit right up here and call our sheriff a lie, basically. We, the board of supervisors, don't do that, not in the public.
No, not the public.
we're gonna clarify that. We don't say
I
that
myself
at all.
was troubled with the wisdom of that exchange. since he was in the sheriff's county, but yes, sir.
All right, that's something we just probably all, I think there's enough interest to do some more looking into it. Anyway.
Yes, sir. We will do that.
Okay.
We will do that. Any more questions in the mental health court?
Let's go pay 74, right?
74.
74.
Total of $5,000 is budgeted every year, nothing changes.
74.
Basically, this is just the amount we need to, as we have an increase in the county, we have an increase in records that we have to keep, and destruction of said records and finding space. So that's why it's increased to the $5,000 for the supplies to handle this. But I have a man down there. I've had a part-time man who was ill. He was able to come back. I had a temporary person there in place, and now he's back. And so we're in the process of finding out which records can be destroyed to make space for the records that we're getting just almost on a weekly basis from all facets of the county.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate it.
And then we got the law library. I guess I'm to address that.
What page is that on?
You left that one off. Okay.
That's
And what about?
pages over, it is
Okay.
page
Yeah.
Right.
76.
I think
if
it
you wanna
speaks for
ask, but it's-
itself.
Yeah.
It's basically just pretty much what it is. I mean, it's keeping the library required by statute to have a law library.
Yeah.
And even though it's probably not used as much as internet is used for the same purpose, but yeah, it's required.
And we pick up
Okay.
a fee for that, so there's no general fund allocation. It's $1 per traffic ticket, I think, which more than covers the expense.
Okay.
Any further questions for me?
Nah.
Thank you for what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Appreciate it. That's, Sheriff, I think you come on in. Come on
Sheriff.
up.
You're up, man.
Sheriff.
Come on with
Jamie.
Good morning, board.
25.
Page 25, guys.
Page 20, start with 25, 25, 26, 27, 62, 64, 65, 91.
He's also a busy man. I don't know what else to tell you.
All right, let's start with page 25, Sheriff Administration.
Sheriff Administration, thank you for the opportunity to come up here. Starting with the officials and the deputies and staff, well, I have talked with Greg and appreciate his help. The increase there was last year we approached you about the longevity pay scale, and we had discussions about doing that over 2 years. We're very appreciative of the fact that y'all have done that. And the numbers that are included in there are the second half of that. Nothing changed from what it originally was last year before we went back and documented it. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have about that. As far as going down, I can do each individual line, or I can hit the highlights. To hit the highlights, the areas with major increases, the first would be maintenance contracts. The majority of that is the body camera and in-car systems that y'all approved earlier this year. So that is where that increase came from. Just to give you an update while I'm standing here, the vendor has reached out to us, and we have training scheduled the end of this month. That will be the first part of training, which is admin, training me and some of our administration, how the system works, how to use it, how to store the information. We are optimistic that around that time the equipment is going to be arriving, and we'll have some of that installation process begin. After that, there will be a second round of training that is to the individual deputies and their use of the system and how to use the system. There'll be a learning curve there, but they've included in that contract is plenty of training. We're very excited about that. Ready for it to get here. I'm going to remain optimistic that it's going to be end of August, 1st of September. It will take several weeks to get that equipment installed and rolled out and trained. The only problem I see is if that stretches any further than that, then we may be looking at monies that were allocated for that last year rolling into next year's budget. I hope that's not the case. I'm optimistic we're going to be up and running before October 1. The fact that they've already reached out to us about that administration training into this month is a good sign, I believe. Going down more other contractual services, we had some increases there. Some of those were, as you know, last year we contracted with the range in Gluckstadt. That has been
successful. We've been holding our firearms qualifications there. We also had an increase in installation costs for installing the equipment in vehicles, wrapping, that type stuff. Software licenses, building supplies, minor, I mean, we're $1,300, minor increases there. The next big one is going to be other machinery and equipment and vehicles. The increase in equipment cost for the other machinery and equipment is equipment for the patrol cars, cages, consoles, radios, blue lights, all that has gone up. We also have included in that, last year we replaced our SWAT team vests. This year our patrolman vests will be expiring. They are on a 5-year life, so we have a majority of them that were purchased 5 years ago that are expiring. That's where some of that cost comes into. Again, that's kind of I say it's not a one-time expense, but it's a once every 5-year expense.
What do you do with the used ones?
We have had requests before to donate them to people. They are end of life. They are expired. So, you know, most of the time they're taken off inventory, and we have had requests of other departments to donate them, and we have done that before, with the caveat that they are expired.
You know, they may be expired, but something is better than nothing.
Exactly.
You know.
We usually have, when we start replacing them, have other agencies reach out and ask if they can have those, and that's usually what we do. Is delete them off inventory.
Jimmy, real quick on this same page before we go to the other, could you kind of explain the salary increases again, the steps that we're on with y'all? Because I know we put something in place last year, I think it was.
Yes, sir. We started a step increase program, and longevity pay is what we're calling it last year.
Right.
And it begins with the beginning rate at every rank, deputy all the way up. And then every 3 years of employment, there would be an increase that bumps up. It's similar to what we're seeing nationwide and statewide, that the more experience you have, the more time you have. We're counting time at Madison County, not in law enforcement altogether. Trying to retain long-term employees here.
Right.
When we came to y'all last year with that, we had a plan that had those steps. It caps out at 15 years. So at 15 years, you've reached your max. Y'all were very gracious in giving that to us last year, albeit half of what we asked for. And this year, we decided to split it up for 2 years, the second half of that.
Right.
And I can provide, it's the same salary scale I provided to you last year, but I'll be glad to provide that to you.
I just wanted a little, update, because I couldn't exactly remember, but
Yes,
I knew
sir.
we had y'all on a different pay scale.
For example, a patrol deputy that's on patrol that's been here 15 years would make more money than a patrol deputy that's been here 1 year. But that patrol deputy that's been here 1 year would then have the opportunity, as he gains years of experience, to bump up in those steps. Similar to what you see in a military or the school system. My wife works for the school system, and they have an increase with their years of experience as it goes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you for that update.
Yes, sir. As far as vehicles go, I believe we're asking for 13 patrol vehicles.
Right.
2 unmarked vehicles. Just to give you a little history, one of those unmarked vehicles will go to an investigator who's currently driving a vehicle that's got 130,000 plus miles. We're looking at, the way I figured, a patrol vehicle usually runs about 3,000 miles a month, 2,500 to 3,000. So if we're 8 months out, you can add 30,000 miles to some of these. 20 to 30,000 miles. We have a warrants truck that was totaled last year in a wreck right in front of the jail that somebody hit him from behind. He is currently in one of our spare vehicles. That vehicle, if we can get him a new vehicle, we'll actually retain that vehicle he's in as a spare. It's 100,000 plus. The patrol cars, we're looking at 9 of them as of end of July are 100,000 plus 2020 models. So they will be in that 130 to 150,000 range when we replace them. 4 of them are our current spare cars. They range from 2017 to 2020 models. One's at 150,000, one's at 110, one's at 113, one's at 101. And actually what we usually do with those as we replace new vehicles, we take those spare cars that we retain and transfer them to our reserve unit. Though some of those reserve cars are up 150, 160, 170,000 miles. And so we replace those reserve cars with our reserve unit and then go. So that's kind of where our numbers come from on vehicles. Vehicles cost has risen. I know y'all probably been preached to all morning about that, but we are very appreciative of what you've done for us. These guys are in these cars a lot, and they're put through a lot, so.
I think about everyone come in front of us, or half of them ask for new vehicles or vehicles, so.
Yes, sir.
We could definitely have a place for them if,
Yes, sir.
you know, as far as, in other parts of the county agency.
Yes, sir. I think the tax assessor is meeting with me tomorrow to look at some we have. One's terrible, but there's a couple others that he may can utilize, so. Next, I did want to mention, and I think Greg separated it out, there is an increase in our salaries for Madison County schools. I'd like to touch on that just a minute. If you're not aware, the school system, the last part of last year, requested that we put a deputy where we had deputies in the high schools and middle schools. They requested the elementary schools. The sheriff and I are for that. It's been very positive, and we have them in all elementary schools. There is basically what they did, though, is double the amount of deputies we have in school between Camden, Luther Branson, Madison Crossing, the two Mansdales. We doubled what we had in school. So that is an increase. That is up to $635,000 is my best guess estimate before benefits. That is reimbursed by the school system, so it shouldn't, you know, in the long run, it doesn't,
That's why
it's all
it's split
paid.
out. It's page
But-
26 in your books. It is an entirely
Yeah.
separate page so that it doesn't
But
inflate
if you,
his numbers
if you
unnecessarily.
see our numbers inflated by that much, that not all of us, that's where a majority of that is.
All right, to go to the detention center,
Detention center.
page 27.
Currently, again, going through, we have an increase in training and seminars. That is for detention officer certification classes. We have some increases in postage, phone service, drug testing, minor increases that just reflect of the costs we had last year. The medical fees, we under budgeted a little bit last year on that. Greg and I recognized that during the process, and we may need to address that in the next month, but we're doing pretty well. However, next year, that medical contract does have a contractual increase of 3%, and it also includes outside medical fees. When I speak outside medical fees, I mean an inmate that's in the jail has to go to the hospital, and we have to pay for that medical treatment and/or prescription. Prescription drugs is a big cost of that. If they are housed by a city or the feds, that cost is reimbursed, but the county inmates, that's our cost to bear. The miscellaneous categories between 600 and 672, just gas, diesel, small tools, that just increased, they increased, but not drastically, but that is a reflection of the cost. The major increase is 919 other machinery and equipment. There is a couple of projects that are necessary at the detention center that includes. The first would be, as you may be familiar with, we have two pods behind the main jail, a D pod and an E pod. Several years ago, we replaced the control board system on D pod, and we did not replace E pod. It was working at the time. It is end of life. That machine is actually running, I believe, on a Windows. I'd have to get Dwayne to tell me, but whatever is end of life, Windows 7, Windows 10, it's old and must be replaced. That is a majority of that is a big cost. The other things is we are in the process with the help of VOC of upgrading our radio system at the jail, putting the jail on the Misswin radio system. That process has begun this year. We're waiting on those radios to get here, but we also when we did that, we had a bare minimum radios. We also budgeted purchasing some additional radios to have as spares as backup. And we looking at an inmate movement and documentation system that takes some of our paper records out, notifying as an inmate moves from cell to cell or court and such as that. That's the three areas of that increase. Any questions on detention center? That control board operates the locks at the jail. That's what keeps the doors locked and unlocks the door. And it also, it also has intercoms to the cells, so if the inmate need detention officers and stuff like that, it's the brains of that pod. But yeah, the importance of that is, the main most thing is it keeps the doors locked and or unlocked when you need them.
That's it.
I don't know if it's a question or a statement, but have you thought about using a nurse practitioner in your jail some? Maybe they would be cheaper, I don't know.
That is all handled by the medical company, and they are staffed by nurses, and I believe that one of the psychiatric is a nurse practitioner. But I will be glad to approach that vendor and ask them if they have thought about that.
Yeah, it might be cheaper, I think. Nurse practitioners coming in and out might be cheaper.
Okay. Yeah, they're staffed 24/7 by nurses, and the doctor comes in on his schedule. But I will certainly ask the vendor if that would help.
Somewhere between a doctor and a nurse, you know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, page 62, canteen fund.
Canteen fund. If I'm sure you are aware of that. Make sure I'm on what page did you say? 62.
62.
Those are funds that are there. They're not budgeted funds. They're already in that account. They are restricted by state statute. You have to be used for the welfare and benefit of the inmate. So it's kind of a pass-through fund, for lack of a better word. That also applies to the phone cards. Detention center and admin phone cards are just pass-through funds where people buy phone cards for the inmate.
Does that also supply to the sheriff administration phone cards?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. There's a kiosk in the lobby, and they can buy phone cards where they can call the inmates. And actually, that has slowly been dropping over the years. We're seeing we've started a video visitation process through our vendor down there. We're seeing the phone card sales and the phone calls drop, and people are migrating towards that video visitation and seem to like it a lot better. There's no restrictions.
Video what now? What'd you call it?
Video visitation. Whereas opposed to, you remember in old school days of, E-Block would visit on Mondays and Tuesdays between 9 and 10.
Yeah.
They can do it anytime they want to via the iPad or the kiosk in the cell. It's helped us out, especially during COVID, with less traffic in and out of the detention center, and the people seem to like it because they're not stuck to a schedule of when they can visit. They can visit when convenient for them.
All right, page 91.
That is drug seizure.
I'm saying 91.
Thing there, you need to.
Federal drug seizure, there's $500 in that account, and we budgeted $500 for it.
That's it.
And there is one page that is not on the schedule here, and that is a mistake on my end. That is page 71, which is your 097 money.
Yeah, so, 097, will be, the dispatcher salaries, and benefits that are paid out of E911 funds. There is some of that is budgeted in 200, and there is some of that is budgeted in 097. But no outside, other than, salaries and retirement and insurance, insurance matching, that's all that fund is. And I believe Greg usually calculates the split with that. Some are paid out of 200 and some are paid out of 097. I don't see the state drug fund listed on there, but it is similar, same as the federal drug fund. It's money that is already there, that is in restricted on what we can use it for at the discretion of the sheriff, but we do buy stuff out of there, and it's kind of a pass-through fund as well. The money is already there.
And that's page 82 if you want to take a look. That's another one that didn't make the table of contents there. But there's, as you said, not much to it.
Okay.
That is all I have. I'll be glad to answer any questions. I would like to take time to thank the staff that's helped us. I know I've aggravated Greg several times, and first year he got to deal with me sitting in his office going over numbers penny by penny, but we did it. The comptroller, staff, and her, I've called them in the preparation and got them to send me spreadsheets of what we spent in this category last year and this year, and as always, everybody has been excellent to deal with and helpful. So,
Good
Any-
deal.
Any questions?
Great.
All right.
Thank you,
Think so?
Jerry.
Thank you very much.
Sheriff, you
Be
bet.
glad and keep us safe.
Yeah, we're gonna back up to community college. So,
Yeah.
who would like to present community college budget? All three of y'all can come up now if
Yeah.
y'all like, or four, or.
All right, we got a picture.
Okay, y'all come on up then.
Ooh, we got pictures.
Teresa Mackey's our VP of Institutional Research, and then y'all know Dr. Burnham.
Okay.
All right, Dr. Happy, we appreciate you coming and.
And look, when you're referring to, all you gotta do is say page 1 or 2. You don't-
That's right.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Do you have any classes for board housewives?
Classes for what?
One.
Board housewife.
About 3 or 4 right here by me.
So we greatly appreciate your time and your consideration. Our presentation today really centers on a project that we're really excited about, and it's detailed there on your handout, but we also brought looks like we're setting up an erector set here.
Yeah.
I was never good at that. I brought some poster boards too, we may can refer to it. But we've got the opportunity, we've all identified as a state and as a community college system the vast need for allied health professionals for a county such as Madison that's growing and is a leader, and we know that if it's going to continue to be a great place to live, that we need as many healthcare professionals that are willing to stay here and have long careers. And so that's a priority for us on top of career tech occupations. I think that's the future growth for really our state, so that's what we've really been focused on lately. So we have opened up quite a bit of new allied health programs, and we need to continue to grow, and we think that the location that we have in Ridgeland that you guys helped us start a few years ago is the key to all that. So what we are proposing to start immediately, we already have all the architectural CD drawings, is to build an allied health center there on I-55 connected to the existing building that we have. And if you don't mind, I'll step away from the mic and just kind of show you a few highlights of it. This would be the existing building that they're on I-55.
Talking about the old fitness lady building.
Okay.
Okay, please, glad to. So this is the existing building, so we would actually reskin the outside of that, and this building would connect to it. Of course, our goal as a college is to be as visible as possible. When we bought this property, I had people come up to us and say, "We're so glad that you guys opened a campus in Madison County." And we said, "Well, we did in 1985, but thanks for noticing." And if you've been on the campus recently, it's continuing to flourish and grow, and Dr. Burnham's done a great job with that. We're actually finishing up a new soccer field house. We have a national championship caliber women's soccer team that's played for 2 national championships and lost in overtime both times. But we have a very robust program where we're looking to add some more sports and some other things down here. So that'll be completed in a few months. But basically, this will just take up our entire footprint on 55, because I think we get 300 and something thousand cars by there a day. We've also been working very hard over the last year to purchase this little over 2.5 acres from Entergy.
Right.
Didn't realize how much land costs down here per acre, but I think it appraised for, I think it appraised for 800, and they were good to sell it to us somewhat cheaper, but still pricey, a lot more than in Holmes County. But anyway, this has to happen to give us the parking for the building, but it will also connect the entire campus. And so we'll finally have a contiguous campus that'll flow all the way from the interstate all the way back to the back of the property. So right now, anything can change. They're saying over $400 a foot to build a building, commercial building right now, and I believe them, even though it's crazy. So the building we estimate will cost $16 million to build, and we'll have about $1 million in the parking lot in addition to that. So about $17 million to get this facility built
and a few other things that we're doing. And we're excited, and we can definitely get started immediately. And we were asking this board to consider a $0.25 increase to help us offset this cost and to get it built. And we'd be happy to answer any questions about this project or anything else that you guys want to know about Holmes Community College.
Dr. Happy, I would maybe explain a little more as far as this new building that you're planning on building, what you're actually going to do with it again. I know you handed this sheet out and with a lot of information on it.
Right.
Information.
So inside this building, you'll have associate degree nursing, which is RN. You'll have practical nursing, which is, the PN license. Healthcare assistant, you'll have the EMS courses, the paramedic, the EMT, the critical care, occupational therapy assistant. We'll be able to expand and move into this building from the current location. We'll be able to expand the surgical technology program, which is always full. And then the massage therapy program that we started a few years ago is actually doing really well. So it'll give them the opportunity to grow a little bit more. So if we retain and do the things that we want to, the yearly student capacity of this building to infuse healthcare workers into this county would be 550 additional students that we can train, and I believe that's about 22 employees that would be working in this arena. So at Holmes now, we have RN on all 3 campuses. We have PN on all 3 campuses. We have PN in Kosciuszko. We have a program where you can bridge from an LPN to an RN. You can bridge from a paramedic to an RN. We have occupational therapy assistant, physical therapy assistant, 2 surge tech programs. We have a night and weekend program. It's been very successful in Grenada. We're opening that program down here, and people will drive from all over the state, and hopefully they get accustomed to Madison County while they're here going to school, and they decide to live here. So it's a lot of healthcare going on, and again, we feel like the future of our state is healthcare and things like career tech, linemen, underground boring for fiber, training, forestry, HVAC, welding, electrician, maintenance tech for Nissan, all those things, those hands-on things that are becoming a lot harder to find people to do, and they pay very well.
Yes, they do.
I think y'all do a great job.
Thank you.
Graduated from Holmes Community College in the 40s.
Really?
And went to Mississippi State and was a mechanical engineer. Y'all do a good job.
Where did he grow up?
He grew up in Chula, Mississippi.
Yeah, okay. Great.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think Holmes Junior College is a great asset to Madison County and other counties. I wish they could call it Madison County Junior College.
Well, if y'all put enough pressure on us, we can, I don't know. Mr. Steen may get mad about that, but.
Classes for board housewives. I've got a whole bunch of friends. We don't have anything to do.
Well, we've got 2 other exciting projects beyond this one. One of them may be just as significant or even larger, but, we know where our future is, and we certainly want to continue to take care of our other locations, but we know that Madison County is our growth opportunity, and we want to, open things. If we're going to open up a new volleyball program, let's say for college volleyball, this would be the county that we would focus on, things like that. So.
And the question I have, I think now if you a Madison County resident and you got a high school student that graduate, they can go to Home Junior just about free.
Yes, sir. With a 20 on your ACT, you can go to school for free.
And that lead me right back to my next question. Have you all considered, maybe give it some thought? You don't have to answer it now, but if you can answer it now, I'd be willing to listen. Maybe bring that 20 down to an 18 for a student that's leaving high school, because a lot of students are outstanding students, but sometimes they just be nervous on those tests.
Sure.
And they make 18, and they say, hey, I ain't taking it again. I got 18. I'm going on to college. So that's something that I wish you would all give it some thought, just for Madison County young folks.
Okay. And we did a study a while back what it would cost to maybe do that for all students, but we could certainly look at that gap too and see. We do have the most generous ACT package of any college in Mississippi. Most people are 21 or 22, but we are looking to at the super score. It's a little bit easier for some students to get to a 20 with the super score because you may do bad in math one time and good in English, and then next time you do it, you may flip-flop. So that's a way to possibly get that up as well. But I know I've got a high school senior that's pulling teeth to get him to go do any prep work, or you almost have to bribe them with a car to get them to go focus on the ACT. But I'll tell you, Madison County Schools, Dr. McGehee and then Dr. Seals, they have continued to hammer that ACT.
Yeah.
And I know they're trying to move. I know Velma Jackson, they've set their goal of 18, and now I think they're ready to tackle. The 20 should be their goal, and we're glad that we have that carrot that these schools can dangle and say, now look, you're close. You've taken it a couple times. You've made an 18. Let's go to a prep course where you can get a full scholarship. And I think 77% of our students are on financial aid. So, a lot of students that maybe don't have the background to afford all the prep and, some of the family support. Hopefully they qualify for Pell, and that covers all of their expenses anyway. So.
Yeah.
And with this project, by the way, I agree with Paul. Holmes Community College has been very good to Madison County. I mean, Dr. Burnham there, he's always involved in everything and does a good job. And so, we like to see y'all continue to add like you're doing here. It's always beneficial, not only to Madison County, but to the, really to the state, but actually to the metro area. And so we appreciate it, and if everything goes through and works well, y'all gonna start this project tomorrow? Or?
Immediately, we can.
Man,
as long as, it's gonna run through the Bureau of Buildings, so it's going to be their process, but we're ready to go. We
appreciate y'all being involved, very much so in Madison County.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank y'all.
Any other questions?
What's the millage rate right now to be doing?
You've got the Holmes Community College has two funds, two separate millage-based funds. There's a maintenance fund that is at 1 mil, and then there is what we call the E&I fund, expansion and improvement. The proposed millage rate there will be 1.5 to allow for expansion and improvement.
So that's where the quarter mil will go into that.
That would be the quarter mil, and the difference in amount turned over would be right at $800,000. You've got 2.1 was the estimated 2023 millage in E&I, and in 2024 you're looking at 2.9.
So basically it'd go up to 2.5 millage total.
Yes, it would go up to 2.5 total from 2.25.
And we're getting a lot for 2.5.
Well, I voted for every increase for homes
Since 1984.
Yeah, you hit with the first bill.
Since 1984.
Before it had ever built, you voted on that.
I had it. I had an opportunity to vote on it in '84, and every budget since then, I've always voted for what Holmes has done, and they have educated a lot of people in Madison County, and a lot of people have gone on to have great careers, and including our one-time president down there at Holmes, who's now running Ole Miss and doing a great job. So I'm very pleased. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys. Really do.
From Holmes, didn't he? Went to Oxford.
Yeah, he graduated from Holmes and went to Oxford.
Hey, if y'all would, do you mind turning those pictures around and getting it on the camera there just for a minute or
Sure.
so? And because I know we all been talking about it, but the people that may be listening or go back and look at this will be able to look and see what y'all have been talking to us about. So.
I'll leave a couple more copies of this just in case.
Okay, we'll pass it out.
I'd love to
Thank
get
you.
I'd love to get a list of what you, like, stuff that gals like, my girlfriends would love to come over and do some classes.
Sure. And maybe workforce stuff too, if it's something that, ceramics or something besides. It's not so structured, but.
Yeah, I love that.
Don, would you like to say anything there, or we don't want to put you on the spot? Because Dr. Happy, hey, he said it all.
What you guys have given us, it means a lot, and being able to work with you guys has been a very special thing for me as well. So you guys have been really
Good.
nice and supportive. Thank you.
Thank y'all. You bet. Thank you,
Tell me
Dr. Happy.
what, I know, y'all technical school, I know y'all got welding, what else y'all have over there? Welding?
In Richland?
Yes.
We have an HVAC program.
Mm-hmm.
We've got industrial maintenance. On the workforce side, we do Nissan forklift training.
Okay.
We've got a lot of computer classes.
Culinary arts.
Culinary arts.
Well, I really like the culinary arts.
Some interior design, graphic design stuff.
Graphic design. We've got OTA courses, Dr. Happy mentioned that. Culinary arts, by the way, is at Sunnybrook.
Paralegal.
That's nice.
We didn't have space for that, we have commercial kitchens, so it's worked out really well for us.
Yeah.
The nurses, most of them are in the main campus.
And they about what, 18 months? You can get through one of these schools?
That's right. It's 2 years for the
Maybe a pamphlet on the
RN program, it's 2
culinary
years.
Mhm.
You can get your credentials in welding and HVAC in 1 year.
1
You
year.
get your associate's degree in another year, which is the academic side of it, so you can get certificate on the way up, so you can actually start work prior to completing.
Yeah, great. I'm just putting it out there for if a young person happen to be listening, they can go in 18 months, they can have them a trade and go in and make a good job. Good job.
You go through our electrical lineman program, which is 20 minutes from here, 16 weeks. For the last 10 years, it's had a 100% placement rate. Every person for 10 years that's gone through it has gotten a job. Most of them get the job before they get permission from their instructor to leave a week early. And they make $25 an hour starting off, and if they chase storms, they'll make $75,000. So we're looking at programs like that. It doesn't have to be even a whole year.
Right.
The industry needs it. Like I said, I think that with all this fiber that has to be laid, if we can become specialized in the underground boring and all that, that's a great career for this area.
Definitely.
We have enough land on Interstate.
Yeah.
Holmes County, we can do that, and it'll be for everybody.
Good deal.
Good.
Thank y'all.
Thank
you,
you. All right.
Dr. Happy.
This is Greg. Sorry, I'm Greg. I'm from the County Administrator.
Good to see you. Yes.
We got any more?
Yeah, we got Tim back
We
here.
got Tim and got Cornelius.
We done missed Tim
Cornelius
twice.
came out there?
Yeah, Cornelius hanging around outside.
We just thought he was here to watch good government.
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah.
We've been here since,
Getting almost
Time to
lunchtime. Scott just walked in.
Who did?
Scott Weeks.
Hi, Tim. Come on up.
good luck, guys.
Yeah. All right, thank y'all.
Oh, we were almost done by lunch.
Tim, before you get started, I appreciate you doing a lot of the leg work for our groundbreaking yesterday, because I know that you did a lot that nobody saw.
No problem.
So
I had some help.
Appreciate you and your staff helping out.
I just sent y'all an email. I hope it went through that Hemp Hill sent me. It's a video of they're doing a flyover today of the fly ash that they're putting out. There's dust everywhere out there, so they're doing a lot of work this morning.
Y'all had it down perfect, or they did, y'all did. Everything went well.
It did. I thought so.
Okay, I think we're on page 99. You almost made 100.
99 won't do.
99. It's down at the
They
bottom.
were after lunch, but we are moving today.
We're what now?
Moving today. Getting through things, moving
Oh, yeah.
very quickly.
That's on the way to be.
All right,
All right, Ken.
all right, this is 150.
Yeah, 153 on one.
Okay, okay.
All right, let's see. These are pretty standard. We got engineering fees that are about the same as they have been. There's not too many big line items on here.
All right.
I've got any questions? Most of our items in our normal budget is very small. I mean, we have 4 big line items, and that's our bridges, our sinkhole money, our other contractual services, which we use for, pretty much anything, striping, culvert repair, any of those things. None of those have gone up. They're all the same as they were last year.
And how much you have down for your sinkhole?
If I remember, it's 600,000.
That is, and that'll be on page 104. He's jumped over to the bridge.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Over to 104?
They're two separate things, but they're all one in my head.
Yeah, 104 has 600,000 in other contractual and 600,000 for contractual bridge repairs.
Is that the drainage improvement?
Drainage improvement, sorry, I was off the
improvement.
line, you're correct,
Yeah.
Supervisor.
Yeah.
600 for drainage improvements, which is sinkholes.
Now, just a little update on the sinkholes. Will that pretty much get us through with the repairs of sinkholes that we have identified? Or,
We're never through with
The news
sinkholes.
are coming.
yeah,
There's always new ones.
I've been caught up so many times, and as soon as we get the next rain event, there's 15 more.
yeah, but I think, what, this year, did we have 800,000 in it or
Well,
something?
we've had 600,000 in it for the past 3 or 4 years, and I've spent every bit of it every year. And then I've spent my 600 this year, and we're spending some more now doing it.
Yeah, we had to find some more
I
money.
know it's ongoing.
It's
maintenance.
it's absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Thought about increasing.
There may be all he can get to during the year, I don't know.
Well, I mean, we run out typically around August every year.
So that number is pretty close then.
It's pretty close. I mean, we could probably spend $100,000 more a year, but not a whole lot more, honestly.
Right. I mean, that's something that's always in front of us, that's for sure.
Okie dokie.
Okay. Else that you may wanna,
I don't see anything on here, but
We talked about that separately.
anything on trucks or equipment, Tim? Or will that come? Let that come on Cornelius?
That's coming through Cornelius through the road fund.
Come through.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Even pick
and
up.
where's
Not even
the
about pickups. How many
striping?
pickups you
Is
need?
that on,
One, okay.
Tim, on the striping, is that on yours?
That's part of that other contractual services, 580,
Right there at the top.
581.
581?
Bug drainage improvement.
Yeah.
And we do have other money for striping in,
Yeah.
out of the modernization money or the internet sales tax money. There's another 300,000 roughly in there.
Well, we
That'll be
really
going
need
up
to
under
get,
Cornelius.
we really need to get some roads together and do some striping.
Right, we've got a couple that we're striping now. Lake Cavalier, we're striping as soon as they get through with the shoulder gravel. Same with Livingston Vernon, we're striping that as soon as we get through the shoulder gravel.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for Tim?
I don't have any.
Okay. Thank you, Tim.
All right, y'all made that easy for me.
Y'all wanna get Cornelius?
Yeah, may as well get Cornelius.
Come on, Cornelius. Come on up and talk to us.
We're gonna have 2 people after
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah.
Come on, Cornelius. Hey, let's.
If we can get here
messed up,
in the
sorry.
sheriff,
I
we
should've.
got a day's job.
A lot of this, though, again, we discussed this ahead
Oh,
of
yeah.
time, and and so we understand a lot of what's going on. We may not your budget, Cornelius, but we understand everybody else's budget.
Yeah.
97.
97.
He starts on 97, correct.
So on my budget on 97, I don't have any changes on mine. On one thing I want to bring to y'all attention on is the gravel, 631. The wash gravel we used to get, we no longer can get wash gravel.
Gravel.
Only gravel we'll be able to get is limestone, and they almost triple the price.
Soft too, isn't it?
That don't sound good for a person that probably got 90% of the gravel road.
It's no really big deal for the rest of us, though. We're okay, Cornelius.
Yeah, but mostly.
What about the creek gravel we used to get?
My opinion about it is cause them more trouble to fool with them than not to. Because some fact, all the sand in it, when we were putting on the driveways pipe, when it rained, there would a pothole be at. Dead in the middle, cause the sand gonna wash away, then you got the pothole. And sand hold moisture, so you know the dirt underneath it gonna get mushy.
Okay.
But with that being said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, let me ask you back on the gravel wise. Is there some all over central Mississippi about the gravel where the people not making them, not doing them anymore, or what?
I think what it is, the cement plant and the asphalt plant, they lock them in.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet they do.
That's
Cement plant,
big
yeah,
company.
they getting them. They yet getting them. Cement plant, yes, getting them.
Mm-hmm.
In order for you to go buy something from the cement plant, gonna cost you $47 a ton.
Mm-hmm.
What's the, okay, I got it.
And we were paying like $13 to $14 a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Just as we go forward in this year, if you hear they got some gravel here, say close around, you might be send your whole fleet and get a whole fleet of them and blame. You might save money there, I don't know. But I would hate to go with limestone on the dirt roads.
I have been checking different county. They saying the same. Can't get them. Cause Lee County said they had to go way up there to Columbus just to get limestone.
Just to get limestone.
That's a long haul there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
But
know,
with that being said, let's talk about asphalt then.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, the thing asphalt, if y'all talking about graveling the gravel road, we ain't got a whole lot of gravel road to be paved no more up there, but they don't do no good because that's the log and
Gonna tear 'em up.
they're gonna tear them up fast to get through with. And the thing about the limestone will hold better than road gravel because limestone is a sharp edge gravel compared to a wash gravel is a marble gravel, this road. And so that's the only thing about it. But once we start putting the limestone down on people's driveway, other people gonna want to put it just cause it's a pretty rock. And so y'all might be getting a lot of call why they won't put us limestone.
I see you have 700,000 down for asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately.
How much asphalt?
And that was how much last year?
It was $800,000 budgeted last year. And just to clarify, we are not putting gravel on all the way down people's driveways. It's across the driveway where the pipe is. Just for the folks watching, we're not graveling people's driveways.
No.
Shadway, please don't. Just need to clarify that.
Misspoke.
Yeah. We all knew, but I didn't want the folks out there to think we're asphalting or graveling people's driveways. That's not what we do.
All right.
What's the lease purchase? Is that the current lease purchase that we currently have?
No, sir. That is a proposed lease purchase. Cornelius, you have, what was it, 9
bobs and 6 trailers.
Yes.
9 Bob trucks? Dump trucks?
Dump trucks.
Dump trucks,
Well,
yeah.
if you can't haul any gravel, what, you still need those dump trucks?
Sir. Yes, sir.
And on those dump trucks, you're looking at a 2015
Got two.
with 190,000 miles, another 15 with 209,000, then 15, 254,000, 15, 220, 234, 220, 253, 200. They're all 200 plus thousand miles on these dump trucks.
Well, at least it's over 130,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're
way over.
You know,
Yeah,
seems like that's where the vehicles comes in at 130. Then we
they
won't
left
trade.
130 in the rear view 2 years ago, probably.
Got an estimate on what you're gonna be able to get for those trucks when you get rid of those?
No, cause I hadn't had nobody give me no, kind of price on them and stuff, but I can get it if y'all need it. But I just wanna let you know, them trucks I'm getting, that's including Tim trucks.
Two. Tim said he had
So
two.
that 9 includes Tim's, it's not 11? Oh, great.
Including Tim.
Okay, so there's 9 total. And that's everything in about
It's
3.1.
9 total, you said?
9 total, 7 and 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be 6 trailer truck, 9 bar truck, short truck.
So it's 6 and 9.
Yeah, 15.
15.
15 total.
And how long is this lease program
Have not
being proposed?
hammered out all the details yet. If we paid for it over 5 years, you're looking at about that 660 number.
How many are you getting rid of?
All of them.
I mean,
be
we
getting rid of
we
15?
getting rid of 15?
Well,
You're gonna have to answer that. I don't know that one.
yeah. No, we get rid of 14, cause what the 9 bar come in, it's a truck that we had towed out,
They got
and
it
we
here.
never replaced that truck.
Uh-huh, okay, okay.
We ought to get pretty good for that.
Oh, you can get pretty good for 'em.
But we didn't kick these trucks down the road here quite a few times over the years. Cause you saying they 2015?
14.
14.
Yeah, you kicked them down the road too many times.
14, okay.
Yeah, you get much more value out of the truck if you don't hold them that long.
I would say, look at the lease purchasing, Greg.
What was that now? I'm sorry.
Look at the lease purchasing.
Yeah.
And let us know something.
We're gonna work out the financing. That 660 number that you see in there for vehicles was just a placeholder on the 3.1 million. We obviously won't do anything that'll send that fund into the red, and we will do it responsibly, and obviously not without board approval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
Okay.
All right, Cornelius,
You got the next page would be the
101.
So that's the internet sales tax money.
101.
Okay. And that is just because rather than run a risk of doing something with that modernization money, we just took the gravel and asphalt out of 150, put it in 151, and using 150 to buy the vehicles. Because you can buy vehicles with 151, but they have to be assigned to the road department forever, always, and that no one else can use them. I'd rather not run the risk.
All right, let's go to page 103.
Your 160, 300.
Bridge and cover.
I'm good on,
103.
Oh, no, go ahead.
All right, wasn't looking strange here.
Okay.
like
Anything you
Greg.
need to tell us on that one, Cornelius?
Well, we good on that, the board, cause like I said, we haven't ran out. We still have a little cover money. And topsoil and dirt, like I said, we don't never run out of that money. And signs, we pretty good on the signs. And we don't hardly ever do fence every now and then on fences. But for that grader blade, we good. And diesel fluid, we good. Everything else, we good on.
Okay.
So the cover is looking, gonna come in under what we did last year. I'm looking at that wrong. No, you got 200,000.
200,000.
And that's another issue of the 2023 estimated may not be as close as it is in some other departments because they're going to put out more culverts in the summer.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, those, might be ain't got to it yet, but is those trucks is the only equipment you looking at?
That's all. You know, trucks and trailers, that's correct that, you know, trailers gonna come with the 6. You can have 1 low bar and 2 dump. 5 dumps.
And how we doing on track holes?
That's what I was finna go to motor grader. You went to track up, go ahead.
Tim's looking for a motor grader. We're going to have to figure out the financing on that one.
Okay.
Do we have an operator?
Yeah. Yeah.
Tim's
How long
also
we
looking
gonna
for a
stay?
mini excavator.
But what about the excavator?
We good on.
He's looking for a mini excavator as well. Tim is.
That big boy that going for over the engineer department. The motor grader be going over the engineer department. And what else you saying you were looking for? Now I'm pointing at you.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't looking for nothing. I'm good. I just need the trucks.
That need the
Trucks and the trailers.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for Cornelius? If not, we all have his phone number.
All right.
Find us some rocks
I've been looking.
Some
and
gravel.
stockpile them quick.
Gravel.
Find some gravel and stockpile them.
Back there.
I see him. I see him. Got
Yeah. Come on, Scotty.
All right, Scott, you up.
Let's go, Scotty.
What page got?
54.
54. 54.
He had 1 page.
54.
Morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
How are you?
All right, you up. Let's move.
You got it, Scott.
I'm getting hungry now.
I'm ready. I think one of my
54. Don't eat nobody but Bubba and Greg. Okay.
I don't really see anything.
He ain't asking for no vehicle. That's a good thing.
no vehicles. We're good on that. I do have one. Let's see.